Chapter 579. Inside the secret door, Snow Shadow World, Icy Wind Valley. A figure appeared in front of the lava lake calmly. With a wave of his hand, he summoned a meteor shower. When Demon Marshal Yin Shua saw this person, he was overjoyed. He immediately floated to the surface of the lake. He bowed and saluted. Inside the meteorite fort, the strange man who was impersonating Ocean Priest Chung suddenly dispersed his domain power and slid past the two abyss manatees like a fish. Even Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua, who rushed back from outside, could not stop him. "Where are you going?" Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua immediately chased after him. Yu Yang did not care at all. He stayed behind and quietly accompanied Hai Yingwu, who was crying silently. Hai Yingwu was a smart girl and had a natural woman's intuition. She was not sure before, because the rumors about Empress Jellyfish affected her judgment. When Empress Jellyfish died in her arms, Hai Yingwu realized that her heart ached terribly. Although she did not know what Empress Jellyfish had done for her, she only needed to see the proud and pleased smile on Empress Jellyfish's face to know that everything Empress Jellyfish had done was for her. No. Hai Yingwu's tears flowed down as she muttered to herself. Being an ocean empress who rules over the ocean is not what I want the most. Actually, what I want the most is a warm home with parents who love me dearly. I don't want to be so strong, and I don't want to be a pitiful orphan. I don't want to have a vast ocean, but no family. I want us to be like this. I would rather be the daughter of a normal family. There are many things in this world that we cannot choose. Yu Yang hugged her and comforted her gently. Around 5 kilometers away from the meteorite fort, Feng Zhu, Bei Feng Jiasua, and the two abyss manatees finally caught up to this man who was impersonating Ocean Priest Chung. However, this man did not panic. Instead, he was very calm. From afar, 2 shadows came with the wind. These 2 men's appearance, clothing, temperament, and strength were exactly the same. It was as if they were duplicates of each other. They had the same slightly long and narrow face, the same tall nose, the same blade-like lips, and the same soul-deep eyes that could look straight into one's heart. They were like 4 demonic artifacts that could directly capture one's heart when they looked at them. His expressionless face had a particularly arrogant and ruthless expression. This kind of expression was not faked, but innate. From their natural arrogance and ruthlessness, one could tell that these 2 people were used to being superior to others. Furthermore, he must be vicious and merciless, treating human lives as worthless. Speaking of differences, the only difference between the 2 of them was the Saint Grade orb floating in front of them. The pearl in front of the man on the left was a blood-red, burning scarlet flame spirit pearl, while the man on the right had a green flame spirit pearl burning with green phosphorescent flames floating in front of him. These 2 spirit pearls were the only difference between the 2. The man on the left politely bowed towards Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasa. "I am 1,000 Goblin King's first clone, Qi Yin." The man on the right also bowed. "I am 1,000 Goblin King's second clone, Qing Yin." The strange man who was pretending to be the Ocean Priest suddenly changed his appearance and became the same as the 2 people who claimed to be the 1,000 Goblin King's first clone and second clone. A purple Moxabustian spirit pearl with purple demon fire also floated in front of his chest. The man who was pretending to be Ocean Priest smiled. "I am 1,000 Goblin King's third clone, Zijio." Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua's expression instantly changed. For against 3, this was not good, because they had just fought with Demon Marshal Yin Shua. They had used up a lot of energy. If they were to fight again, the result would not be good. Most importantly, although the 2 abyss manatees were both heaven-ranked level 2, their intelligence was not high and their battle power was limited. It would be good if they could fight against one of them together. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua did not have the confidence to win against each other. On the opposite side, there were 3 men who claimed to be 1,000 Goblin King's clones. They all had the power of heaven-ranked level 3. "We are not willing to fight with you. After all, getting the ancient Demon King's body is the most important. But you are very troublesome. If we do not kill you, you will always be a hindrance." The first clone Qi Yin said. "If you think you can defeat us, then you are wrong. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo looked at each other and stood side by side. Of course we will not just defeat you. We also want to kill you. Zijio, who was pretending to be Ocean Priest's third clone, flew over. He raised his hand, and a strange domain power spread out. Immediately, Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo were frozen. In his domain, time and space seemed to have stopped. Even Zijio himself was floating in the sky without moving. The first clone Qi Yin and the second clone Qing Yin immediately attacked the two abyss manatees. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo could not move their bodies, but their minds were still there. They knew that the two abyss manatees would definitely lose. But they were trapped in this mysterious domain and could not escape. They could only worry. Elder Xingpan, the Ocean Knights, and the Clown Fishmen fell at the entrance of the fort. All of them were lying on the ground and sleeping soundly. Senior Demon Yin Sha, who had just escaped from the seal, was taking huge strides and following another man in a cloak. Step by step, he walked into the fortress and even squeezed his way into the battle arena. In the center of the battle arena, Jie Wei, Yin, and Starfish General were nowhere to be seen. Haiying Wu, who was hugging Empress Jellyfish and crying, also disappeared. There were only 3 people left in the entire arena. One was the 9-headed sea goblin king, Yao Feng, who had not fully recovered from his broken neck. The second was the Wing Clan Xiangyu, who tried to kill Empress Jellyfish and took the curse for her. The third person was naturally Yu Yang, who was sitting leisurely on the ground, eating a golden apple while waiting for his enemies to arrive. He looked at the cloaked man in front of him and smiled. It was as if he saw an old classmate that he had not seen for a long time. The cloaked man kept his cloak and also had a bright smile on his face. He also smiled amiably. This man looked exactly the same as Qi Yin, Qing Yin, and Zijio on the outside. On his face, other than arrogance and emotionlessness, there were 2 other things that were naturally formed. That was self-confidence and individuality. This kind of self-confidence was not because of his power or identity. It was completely due to his personality. It was something that was formed naturally. And that even weirder individuality was a very special expression that no one else had. It only appeared on this man's face. That was a unique sign of I am myself, not the rest of the world. It was as if he had to show that he was different from everyone else. When he saw Yang, he smiled. It was not close. It was not out of politeness, but a special kind of joy. This kind of joyful smile would only appear when a farmer sees a harvest in his field, or when a fisherman sees his fishing line being pulled, or when a hunter sees a beast falling into his trap. This person did not have eyes for 9-headed sea goblin king, nor did he have eyes for the grieving winged clan Xiangyu. He only had eyes for Yu Yang. He smiled at Yu Yang and asked, "Are you the genius Yu Clan, third young master who is said to be one in 10,000 years?" When Yu Yang heard this, his smile became even brighter. "Are you the genius 1,000 goblin king who is said to not die in 3,000 years?" The person did not deny it. Instead, he clapped his hands and laughed. "That's right, I am 1,000 goblin king. I thought you would not recognize me and wanted to introduce myself. I did not expect you clan third young master to have such good eyesight. Forget about 1,000 goblin king, even Magneto king, 1,000 beast king, 1,000 slave king, 1,000 sword king, 1,000 snake king. I know all of them. 1,000 goblin king is not one of them." Yu Yang laughed. His expression seemed to say that he met the 1,000 vegetable king who was selling cabbages on the street a few days ago. When 1,000 goblin king heard this, his smile disappeared and his face darkened. "Young man, you seem to be hostile towards me?" 1,000 goblin king asked. "If I remember correctly, a year ago, some men and women who claimed to be your followers kidnapped my relatives." Yu Yang was still smiling. "I'm not saying that I am hostile, I just don't have a good impression of you. You clan third young master, you and I are both from the soaring dragon continent. I do not wish to fight with you. If you leave this place, I will give Tong Tian Tower to you. You can do whatever you want in Tong Tian Tower. I have no objections. My future lies in the heaven realm." 1,000 goblin king tried to persuade Yu Yang. "Young man, as a senior, what I do is very different from what you think. Maybe you have heard a lot of rumors about me, but have you ever thought that in the past, you and I, the U Clan third young master, were actually two very similar people? You were trash when you first started your cultivation. Because you did not have a breakthrough in your cultivation, you were looked down upon by others. After that, you had a fortuitous encounter and quickly improved. I was also in the same situation. I also had a failed start. After that, I had a fortuitous encounter and quickly improved, becoming an unprecedented genius. Between me and you, there is nothing to fight about. What I have experienced, you will also experience in the future. What I have done is what you want to do now. The current me only wants to take away the ancient Demon King's body and leave Tong Tian Tower to the Heaven Realm. This way, Tong Tian Tower will no longer be threatened by the ancient Demon King, and you can continue to live the life you want in Tong Tian Tower. Good, well said. Yu Yang clapped his hands vigorously, then patted his chest. He laughed a little mischievously. Thousand Goblin King, you have the potential to be a lobbyist, do you know that? I was almost convinced by you just now, just a little bit more. Yu Yang even used the end of his finger to make just a little bit more gesture, indicating that he was not exaggerating. Thousand Goblin King's face immediately darkened even more. As if he did not see it, Yu Yang laughed. Old senior, as a junior, the things I do and the things you think are really very different. Maybe you have heard a lot of rumors about me, but have you ever thought that the current me and you, the genius Thousand Goblin King from 3,000 years ago, are actually two completely different people? Why should I repeat the things you have done before? Why should I let you have the things you want? Your future is in the Heaven Realm. Could it be that my future is limited to this Tong Tian Tower? Don't think that I am a 3-year-old child. Thousand Goblin King, I want to say that no matter what you persuade me, I will treat it as bullshit. Would you be so kind as to let me have Tong Tian Tower? If you're really so kind, why don't you let me have the ancient Demon King's body? All right, let's fight and talk with our fists. Thousand Goblin King sighed helplessly. You Clan's third young master, you were really like me in the past. The same stubbornness, the same stubbornness. Even if you know that it is not the best choice, you will still persevere to the end. Is this considered a compliment? Yu Yang used his leg to kick Hui Tai Lang, who was still lying on the ground and sleeping. Quickly go and drag Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua back. I think they are already beaten to death. Don't worry, they should not die. Thousand Goblin King revealed a confident smile. My first goal is to kill you first. What a coincidence. My thoughts are exactly the same as yours. Yu Yang clapped his hands in agreement. Thousand Goblin King raised his hand. Rumble, rumble, rumble. With a loud sound, an ancient demon whose body was even taller than the 80 meters tall demon marshal Yin Shua appeared on the battle arena. Its strength was as high as heaven-ranked level 3. When it appeared, it immediately knelt in front of Thousand Goblin King. Following the Thousand Goblin King's finger, the ancient demon that was more than 150 meters tall took a big step forward. With one big step, it arrived in front of Yu Yang. It stretched out a huge demon claw, ready to crush Yu Yang like a flea. Yu Yang yawned. I am so scared. Behind him, a giant lowly wearing Titan armor appeared in a flash. You dare to touch my brother? The enraged giant lowly roared. Her voice was earth-shattering and deafening. She grabbed the ancient demon's giant horn, and with a burst of strength, she flipped the ancient demon over to the ground. Then, she kicked the ancient demon several hundred meters away, causing it to crash heavily into the other side of the arena and sink deep into the meteorite wall. When Thousand Goblin King saw the giant lowly appear, his expression changed slightly. He did not say anything and only took out a magic ball. He threw it onto the giant lowly who was charging towards the ancient demon. A teleportation light flashed. The giant lowly and the ancient demon disappeared from the battle arena at the same time and appeared in the battlefield of certain death in another space. Even if two heaven-ranked level 3 opponents entered the battlefield of certain death, they would still be restricted by the laws. One must die before the other could come out. I still have heaven-ranked beasts. What about you, third young master? Thousand Goblin King summoned a heaven-ranked level 2 Snow Mountain Giant. It was 100 meters tall and wore a unique frost-heavy armor. It had one eye and a huge mouth. Its 4 arms were extremely strong, and it was decorated with heaven rune circles that could increase one's strength. On the head of this Snow Mountain Giant, there were 2 black horns that were even bigger than the demons. They were curved like a cow and protected the Snow Mountain Giant's only weakness, the top of its head. "I don't have any more." Yu Yang expressed that he was not a country bumpkin. Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen flew out from behind him. This duo who had just woken up from a deep sleep bit her finger. "Master, this guy doesn't seem to be delicious." Before she finished speaking, a thorny flower wrapped around the Snow Mountain Giant's ankle. Without waiting for the Snow Mountain Giant to react, another thorny flower bit through the battlefield of certain death magic ball that Yu Yang threw out. The teleportation light flashed. Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen and the heaven-ranked level 2 Snow Mountain Giant teleported away at the same time. When Thousand Goblin King saw Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen, he was surprised, as if he did not understand why he could still see this extinct beast. However, Yu Yang's expression was not bad. He laughed and said, "Actually, I also have this kind of battlefield of certain death magic ball. I don't have to trouble you to take out all of them. Senior Thousand Goblin King, what other heaven-ranked beasts do you have? Please summon them all and let me, a junior, have a look." Chapter 580. Heaven Realm Demon Dragon. Thousand Goblin King summoned a magnificent holy grimoire and placed his palm on it. A golden light flashed, and a gigantic demon dragon appeared on top of his head. This demon dragon was not a holy beast, but its strength was at the peak of heaven-ranked level 1. Because it was a flying-type beast, its battle power was not inferior to the heaven-ranked level 2 Snow Mountain Giant. Its whole body was burning with black flames. Its scales were like obsidian. Its horn was like a demon spear. Its wings were almost 100 meters long. Its head was ferocious, and its eyes were as black as a hole. Yu Yang was expressionless. Thousand Goblin King was indeed awesome. He actually had a holy grimoire. This was the first time Yu Yang saw a human warrior possessing a holy grimoire. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon roared towards the sky and spat out a long tongue of fire. It actually used its special ability in summoning crystal to summon 3 raging inferno dragons that were half the size of the Heaven Realm Demon Dragons appeared on the battlefield in the light of summoning. They were also not holy beasts. Although they were only platinum ranked level 10, their battle power was not inferior to human warriors. They were at least equivalent to innate level 8. A peak of heaven-ranked level 1 Heaven Realm Demon Dragon and 3 blazing giant dragons that were equivalent to innate level 8. How should he deal with this battle? Although the Reaper Mantis was born to restrain dragons and liked to eat them, the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon was not something that the Reaper Mantis could bite. Bloody Queen Red was also good at flying, but how could she fight against 3,000-year-old dragons and a 5,000-year-old dragon? When Yang thought about this, he frowned slightly. How could he defeat these 4 old dragons? My bow end is a good warrior. I hope Third Young Master will like his arrival. Thousand Goblin King's eyes had a hint of pride. Seeing his enemy helpless was his life's greatest joy. Master, a man requests to fight. Barbarian Cow Shadow, a man, came out from the grimoire world and stood in front of Yu Yang with her head held high. When Thousand Goblin King saw this, he laughed out loud. A female barbarian cow wanted to fight against 4 giant dragons? What a huge joke. Not to mention the strongest Heaven Realm Demon Dragon. Any one of the raging flame dragons could easily tear her apart. Yu Yang closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He then summoned his grimoire and superimposed the giant shadows on a man's body one by one. Wild possessed the great Earth Heart, as well as the ancient Titan's power. She was a battle goddess who would never tire. As long as she stood on the ground, no one could defeat her. She was indeed not a match for the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon, but if she were to exhaust it bit by bit, no matter how strong the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon was, there would come a time when it would run out of energy. The barbarian Cow Shadow on man threw out the god-binding chains. An explosion of power. He directly dragged the arrogant Heaven Realm Demon Dragon to the ground. She took out the magic ball of Duel and crushed it. Then, she grabbed the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon and disappeared with the enemy. Yeong didn't know how long it would take for Man to defeat the powerful Heaven Realm Demon Dragon. He hoped that Doom's eyes could be activated. That way, it would save a lot of time. The 4 giant dragons and the barbarian Cow Shadow disappeared at the same time. Thousand Goblin King was a little annoyed. As an exceptional genius, no one could surpass him in the past 3,000 years. He didn't expect that even with so many heaven-ranked beasts, he still couldn't take down a 20-year-old brat. Fallen Angel, descend. Thousand Goblin King intentionally wanted to compete with Yu Yang in beasts. He was a dignified Thousand Goblin King with countless beasts, yet he couldn't even suppress a brat. Where'd he put his face? As long as he saw Yu Yang calmly facing his own beast and countering its attacks, he would be extremely unhappy. Competing beasts? Then let's see who has more beasts and who is stronger. Thousand Goblin King raised his hand, and the grimoire released thousands of dazzling lights. In the sun-like light, a black shadow walked out, admiring himself. His appearance caused the whole place to lose its color. Even the light lost its power. An angel whose wingspan was not more than 10 meters, but whose energy and aura could make light lose its color, appeared in front of Yu Yang. On his body, there was a pair of pitch-black wings. Every feather was like a black arrow, or a black dagger filled with killing intent. A dark golden armor, and a pitch-black devilish angel demon sword. Compared to the cursed holy light sword in Xiang Yu's hand, this angel demon sword was even more evil and strange. A bloodthirsty desire was emitted from the blade, as if this angel demon sword couldn't wait to be unsheathed and drink human blood. Although this fallen angel had the power of Heaven Ranked Level 1, he wasn't at the peak of Heaven Ranked Level 1. However, from his intelligent eyes, one could tell that he was extremely difficult to deal with. A fallen angel with intelligence was more terrifying than 2 ancient slaughterers without intelligence. Aya, what kind of enemy is this? Even I have to be awakened? The fallen angel slowly descended to the ground and pointed at Yu Yang. His pitch-black eyes were only looking at Thousand Goblin King. King, is it this snot-nosed brat who angered you? Please don't be angry. Wait for Mo Fei to kill him for you. Do you still remember? 3,000 years ago, wasn't there also an arrogant brat who wanted to challenge your majesty? What a laughable flea. My king, please don't mind him. Mo Fei will use his sword to chop off his head to appease the anger in your heart. So, it's a damn lady boy. Yu Yang couldn't stand the fallen angel's tone and vomited. It couldn't be helped. This was the legendary, authentic, submissive tone. Yu Yang couldn't stand an otaku who was a mortal enemy of a fujoshi. Of course, nothing was impossible in this world. It was reasonable for it to exist. Yu Yang could only pretend not to hear it. He was really afraid that if he heard too much, he would be infected. Damn Tai Lang wasn't here. Reaper Manus's level wasn't high enough. Bloody Queen Red and Hornless Dragon Jiang Ying were much weaker too. Who should fight next? Yu Yang had a headache. He realized that Thousand Goblin King, who had lived for thousands of years, was indeed abnormal. Heaven-ranked beasts, other people were already very powerful if they had one. But he had a group of them, and each one was more abnormal than the other. Just as Impatient sighed and prepared to fight, 2 shadows rushed over from the other side of the passage. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo swept his claws, wanting to kill the 2 people at the entrance of the passage. However, a giant blizzard lady rose up. Her form was not much shorter than the 80 meters tall Demon Marshal Yin Shuo. The most terrifying thing was that she opened her mouth and spat out a breath of cold air. The whole battle arena immediately turned into a world of ice and snow. Snowflakes danced in the air, and the cold wind was bone-chilling. The ice on the ground quickly spread, and in a blink of an eye, the ground was frozen into a pure white snow. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo looked in shock at the palm that was burning with flames. That palm was actually frozen by frost. Even the burning flames had turned into frost. A divine sword slashed down from the top of his head. Although the sword chi was slightly lacking, The power of the divine sword that could kill everything in a second still scared demon marshal Yin Shuo so much that he immediately dodged. He was not an idiot. He would definitely not go head-to-head with a divine weapon. Not only him, even Thousand Goblin King's expression changed when he saw this divine weapon. The legendary Prison Emperor Divine Sword? Thousand Goblin King sighed slightly. Although the divine weapon was in front of him, he knew that the divine weapon was not fated with him. It belonged to the heroic swordswoman in his hand. "I'm late. Are you all right?" The valiant Princess Sisai did not look at Thousand Goblin King, nor did she look at the fallen angel who was preparing to attack Yu Yang. After she forced Demon Marshal Yin Shuo to retreat, she kept the divine sword on her back and walked towards Yu Yang in big strides. In her eyes, there was only this baddie that she would always love and hate. Maybe it was because of her competitive spirit that refused to admit defeat, or maybe it was because she was unwilling to admit that she fell in love at first sight, or maybe it was because she was gradually attracted to him. Anyway, she did not know when she had fallen in love with this man who smiled evilly. If he was not Shui Wuxia's fiancé, would she still like him? If he did not peek at her one day, if he did not touch her one day, would she still like him? Princess Sisai could not explain these questions, so she decided not to think about it. Anyway, it was happier to be simple than complicated. She only needed to know that in the depths of her heart, he was the only one that she missed. "Princess, your subordinate was bullied badly." Yu Yang quickly pretended to be pitiful. "It's okay. I will kill him to take revenge for you." Princess Sisai would definitely not speak like this normally. In front of the enemy, she would always be his most capable swordswoman and not the arrogant Rouge Tigress. Although that damn transvestite looks like he needs a beating, his abilities are not bad. Can you handle him alone? Yu Yang was a little worried for her. Don't we still have Xuan Yo? As Princess Sisai spoke, Shui Wuxia also fluttered over. She was different from Princess Sisai, who used her fist to punch Yu Yang's chest. She changed her usual reserved manner, opened her arms, and gave him a deep hug. Then she used her warm cherry lips and kissed his cheek lightly. Thousand Goblin King is not that strong. You can definitely defeat him. I believe in you. Remember, you are the man that I like, and also the most outstanding man in the world. This is such a joke. Do you think that just by saying a few disgusting words of love, you can scare me away? When the fallen angel heard this, he sneered. My king is the most outstanding person in the world. All of you are trash. Only my king is worthy of this Tong Tian Tower. He is the man who can truly conquer the heaven realm. We will help you kill this guy. Our strength is limited. We can only help you this much. Shui Wuxia kissed the corner of Yu Yang's lips lightly, like a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water. Under the encouragement of her kiss, Yu Yang's blood boiled and his morale soared. Hai Yingwu looked at this scene enviously. She also wanted to throw herself into his arms and kiss him, but she knew that in his arms, there were two girls that were even more outstanding than her. If she wanted to have a place in front of them, she had to be outstanding enough. Princess Sisai also gave Yu Yang a hug, but towards Yu Yang, who took the opportunity to chase after her with a wolfish kiss. She turned her head to avoid it, only letting him kiss her cheek. On the other side, Shui Wuxia, who had thunder in her left hand and frost in her right, had already flown towards Fallen Angel. Princess Sisai, who broke free from Yu Yang's embrace, held a decisive battle scroll in her hand. This kind of decisive battle scroll brought people to a different space than the magic ball of certain death. They were his fiancés. Even if they had the confidence to kill the enemy, they had to be wary of the enemy's schemes. They were definitely not willing to fall into the battlefield of certain death, but to enter a place where they had a chance to leave. Shui Wuxia and Princess Sisai fought against the fallen angel. When the decisive battle scroll opened, the three figures disappeared at the same time. Be careful. Thousand Goblin King suddenly felt a trace of uneasiness. In the end, he hurriedly reminded Fallen Angel, hoping that the proud Mo Fei would fight carefully, because these two girls gave him a very bad feeling. They did not seem to be very strong, But a warrior's intuition told Thousand Goblin King that they were very dangerous, far more dangerous than what he could see with his eyes. Senior Thousand Goblin King, do you still have heaven-ranked beasts? Yu Yang asked with a smile. Thousand Goblin King did not answer, but Yu Yang's face turned serious. If you don't, then it's my turn. Chapter 581. Wait. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo suddenly took a big step forward, his huge body causing the ground to rumble. Your opponent is me. Yu Yang looked at Thousand Goblin King. He is not going to fight? Thousand Goblin King did not look at Yu Yang. He only cared about himself, and walked in front of Xiang Yu, who was in despair. He used the gaze of a strong warrior and looked down at him. I can remove this curse. Xiang Yu seemed to have revived from the dead. His eyes immediately regained their spirit. He looked at Thousand Goblin King excitedly. Really? Thousand Goblin King nodded his head. Fallen Angel Mo Fei. I am actually the same as you, under an irreversible curse. But do you know what my inherent skill is? Separation inherent skill. Not only can my inherent skill separate any negative state from my body, I can also separate myself into two people. Do you understand what I mean? In my hands, you do not even need to suffer for a minute. As long as you're loyal to me, I can grant you a second life, a perfect and healthy body. Without waiting for Xiang Yu to react, Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King suddenly knelt down. He knelt down in front of Thousand Goblin King with a face full of excitement and sincerity. The powerful you are the master that I have been looking for. Evil Wind is willing to be under your command. Evil Wind swears to the heavens that in the future, Thousand Goblin King will be my master and I will be at your beck and call. If I have any thoughts of betrayal, may the heavens and earth destroy me. A strange light flashed past Thousand Goblin King's eyes. Other than Yu Yang, no one could understand what that light meant. He personally helped Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King up and said with a pleasant expression, I understand your intentions. There is no need to be so courteous. Get up. Actually, my goal is Heaven Realm. I need more strong warriors to help me manage Tong Tian Tower. I can hand over Guang continent to you who is cursed. As for the vast ocean, I will hand it to you, loyal and devoted Evil Wind. You will all become the new generation of powerful rulers of Tong Tian Tower. Although your current strength is not enough to suppress Dragon Emperor and Emperor of the Underworld, I will grant you power. You will definitely become heaven-ranked warriors in the future. Yes, Master. Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King was a typical person who took advantage of the situation. Once he saw that Thousand Goblin King accepted him, he immediately called him Lord. Xiang Yu shuddered when he heard this. But as a curse, he had no choice but to kneel down as well, hoping that Thousand Goblin King would use his separation inherent skill to separate the curse from his body. Yu Yang watched quietly. He did not stop them. Hai Yingwu took the opportunity to rush to his side and secretly stretched out her small hand to hold his big hand. Yu Yang felt that her jade-white hands were slightly cold. Only then did he react. He immediately waved his hand and asked her to leave the arena. Let's go. It's very dangerous here. Quickly take the Sea Clan, who fainted outside, and leave. If they really fight, the entire snow world might collapse. I am gone. You'll be alone. Hai Yingwu hoped that she could be by his side. This battle was going to be difficult, and his life might be in danger. She didn't care about the Sea Emperor's position at all. As long as she could stay and accompany him, everything else didn't matter. If he died in battle, he would accompany him. If he lost, he could stay behind to comfort him. Silly woman, haven't you heard that women should shut up when men do things? I'm not discussing with you. Do you understand? This is an order. Yu Yang was furious. I'll listen to you. Don't be so fierce. Hai Yingwu felt wronged and begged weakly. I'll listen to you, but you have to come back. No matter what happens, you can't go all out. Everyone and I are waiting for you. You should know that if you leave, we won't be able to live. Promise me, don't be like my father. You're the most outstanding. Nothing can happen to you. I was very angry at you in the past. It was my fault. After you return from the battle, I will be the best woman and serve you with all my heart. You must remember, We are all waiting for you. Hyein Wu became more emotional as she spoke. She hugged Yu Yang and kissed him fiercely with her fiery lips. Tears flowed down again and into their mouths. She resisted the reluctance in her heart, raised the Ocean Emperor's halberd in her hands, and left without looking back. She was not heartless, but she was afraid that her heart would soften. If she looked back at him, she might not be strong enough to leave. She was smart and knew what kind of enemy he was facing. One was a heaven-ranked level 3 ancient demon. The other was even scarier than a heaven-ranked level 3 ancient demon. It was the 1,000 Goblin King who dominated Tong Tian Tower 3,000 years ago. If Yu Yang was confident, he would not have delayed his attack. Hyein Wu knew that this battle was no less dangerous than the Death Arena and the Heaven Realm battle. At that time, Ji Zun and Night Empress were beside him. Now, he could only fight alone. Hyein Wu hated herself. Why did she not have enough power? If she had, she would be able to share some of his pressure. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo had no intention of stopping Hyein Wu from leaving. In the eyes of an ancient demon, an innate level 1 was as insignificant as an insect. Moreover, the enemy in front of them was this Yu clan third young master. As long as they killed this man, no one in Tong Tian Tower would be able to stop 1,000 Goblin King. Magma Dragon, Blazing Queen Bee, and my Demon Bat, come out. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo did not summon these beasts even when he was facing Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasa. If the enemy in front of him was Yu Yang, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo would not dare to be careless. After all, this was a super genius who was said to be able to capture an abyss manatee from Heaven Realm. Among the people that Demon Marshal Yin Shuo knew, only 2 people could do this. One was 1,000 Goblin King, and the other was this Yu clan third young master. Before this human genius who was similar to 1,000 Goblin King grew up, he must be killed. Otherwise, he would grow up quickly and reach the same realm as 1,000 Goblin King. Although Demon Marshal Yin Shuo was willing to accept 1,000 Goblin King, it did not mean that he was willing to accept another human genius like 1,000 Goblin King. If it was a human genius, only one would be enough. This was what Demon Marshal Yin Shuo thought. On the other side, 1,000 Goblin King's body shone with a dazzling golden light. It immediately enveloped the heavily injured 9-headed Sea Goblin King and the cursed Xiang Yu. Yu Yang smiled and did not stop him. Forget about 9-headed Sea Goblin King. Xiang Yu was also not a good person. Yu Yang would not care about their life and death. Anyway, there was no lack of fools in this world. If they were tricked by 1,000 Goblin King, it was because they were stupid. Who would care about a fool's business? A volcano quickly rose from the ground of the battle arena. Blood-red magma spurted out and formed a magma fire dragon in midair. It was platinum-ranked level 10, but its power was equivalent to innate level 9. It was slightly stronger than the 3 giant blazing dragons summoned by the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon. Of course, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo did not summon the magma fire dragon to fight, but to create a magma terrain that was beneficial to him. Only in a high-temperature environment, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo could use 100% of his power. The higher the temperature, the better. Just now, the blizzard water had spat out a mouthful of frost-cold air, causing the temperature to plummet. This made Demon Marshal Yin Shuo uncomfortable all over his body. Thus, he summoned a magma fire dragon to change the terrain, creating an advantageous terrain for him. Blazing Queen Bee was also platinum-ranked level 10. Its purpose was not to attack the enemy, but to continuously lay eggs. As long as it was in the magma of the volcano, it could lay endless eggs. Every Blazing Bee warrior that hatched had the power of an innate level 1. Although this kind of Blazing Bee warrior's attack power was useless against a Heaven rank innate, they still had a terrifying self-destruct skill. Even a Heaven rank innate would be greatly injured when facing the endless number of Blazing Bee warriors' self-destruct skill. If it was combined with Demon Marshal Yin Shuo's grave, inherent skill, this kind of self-destruct skill was simply an abnormal existence. Because of the grave, inherent skill, every time a summoned beast dies, the grave, inherent skill would accumulate 1/10 of the summoned beast's power. If the enemy suffered the self-destruct of thousands of blazing bee warriors, even a strong heaven rankinate would be heavily injured. The only weakness of this skill was that it was unable to lock the enemy down. The enemy could easily escape and retreat. Previously, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo did not summon Blazing Queen Bee to lay eggs to deal with Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo. That was because he did not have any helpers to restrict the enemy. Moreover, the enemy had Prison Dragon Pillar and Beheading Moon Chains. These were the treasures that Blazing Queen Bee was most afraid of. If Barbarian Cow Shadow did not take away the God-binding chains just now, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo would not have taken the initiative to attack. Now, he was relieved. With Thousand Goblin King by his side, and the enemy did not have any treasures that could restrict Blazing Queen Bee from laying eggs, this battle could be said to be a sure win. Furthermore, he still had Heaven Rank Level 1 Demon Bat. This was his guardian beast, with its blood-sucking and sound-wave skills. Even if the enemy was the legendary Yu-Clan Third Young Master who could defeat Heaven Rankinates, he would definitely lose. Third Young Master, give your body to me. I have been longing to become a human for a long time. Your excellent body is a treasure that I have been looking forward to for a long time. I promise to use it well. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo was speaking from the bottom of his heart. Although he was an ancient demon, ever since he was stuck at Heaven Rank Level 3 and could never level up, he understood that the best life form in the world was the extremely fragile human. Only humans had the best body and the body with the most potential. I am very easy to talk to, but please ask my beasts if they agree. Yang also kept on summoning. He did not use Battle Angel Ika as his secret weapon. He wanted to keep her to deal with the confident Thousand Goblin King, Bloody Queen Red, Hornless Dragon Jiangying, Reaper Mantis, and Spirit of Heaven Fire were summoned one by one. Finally, the most capable Little One Li was summoned. Little One Li had already summoned Stone Element Medusa, Storm Mermaid, Thunder Naga, and Ice Serpent Demon in the Grimoire world. The Stone Element Medusa and the Storm Mermaid hated high-temperature environments the most. They preferred to fight in the water. The Storm Mermaid blew the storm horn almost as soon as they came out. Thus, a miracle was born. Dark clouds gathered in the sky, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. Countless raindrops fell down like a torrential downpour. Behind Storm Mermaid, there were raging waves that rushed towards the volcano that was spewing magma like a tsunami. Magma Dragon and Blazing Queen Bee were extremely angry as they released heat to resist. Waves of heat waves evaporated the water droplets. Lumps of magma were like a dam, blocking the waves. Water and fire collided violently. Immediately, there was an incomparably terrifying strange sound. The whole battle arena immediately became a miraculous scene of water and firefighting. Heaven-ranked Level 1 Demon Bat flapped its wings and swooped down towards Yang. However, before it could release its sound wave, a little serpent demon lowly appeared in front of it. She glared angrily at the demon bat and froze it in midair. Bloody Queen Red appeared in a flash and rushed towards the demon bat's huge ears and let out an incomparably mournful and soul-shattering banshee scream. Just as Demon Marshal Yin Shuo was about to wave his claws to help, there was already another person in front of him. Yu Yang. Yu Yang did not make a move because he was scheming against the enemy. Ever since he transmigrated to this world, Yu Yang had faced strong enemies one after another. What was there to be afraid of? Chapter 582. Countless rocks flew towards Demon Marshal Yin Shuo under Yu Yang's control, imitating the Night Empress falling meteor. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo laughed coldly in his heart. He thought that Yu Yang had some powerful moves, but it was just rocks. If it was really the falling meteor from the Night Empress Starry Sky domain, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo would naturally not dare to take it head-on. However, Yu Yang was just imitating it with normal rocks. The difference in power was like heaven and earth. It was not a threat at all. Boom, 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 boom. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo waved his fist disdainfully, smashing the raindrop-like rocks into pieces. Trying to use rocks to defeat an ancient demon? It was simply a dream. On the other side, the demon bat's battle was not as optimistic as its master. Its body was frozen by Little One Lee. Its ears, which were originally extremely sensitive and could receive ultrasonic waves, immediately exploded under Bloody Queen Red's banshee scream. Blood splattered out from its eardrums. Its consciousness went blank, and its body fell from the sky like a piece of leather. At the same time, Little One Lee's dual icicle blades cut into its heart. Although it only broke through the skin and was unable to directly penetrate the heart, the extremely cold ice energy still easily entered its internal organs, forming a layer of ice. Hornless Dragon Jianying, who was wielding Yu Yang's crescent moon, fiercely slashed at the demon bat's left wing. On the other side, its right wing was heavily hit by Bloody Queen Red's whip of agony. Although its level was higher and it was stronger under the combined attacks of Little One Lee and the other's powerful inherent skills, the demon bat, whose strength was as high as Heaven Rank Level 1, could not handle it and was heavily injured. Without any warning, the demon bat, which had escaped from the binding inherent skills and banshee scream, immediately turned into a ball of golden light. It changed its form in an attempt to reduce the injuries on its body and avoid being pursued. If it did not turn into a ball of light, it would continue to be frozen in ice. After the demon bat's escape, Little One Lee raised her right hand. That small hand was pink and as white as jade. An infinite amount of purifying light was released from Little One Lee's hand. This kind of purifying light that could dispel negative effects was not very effective in healing wounds. Its main purpose was not to heal, nor was it to dispel the negative effects on one's body, but to attack the enemy. Little One Lee rarely used this skill unless she was facing a Demon Abyss powerhouse or an enemy who was good at using negative energy. As soon as the golden light of the demonic bat came into contact with the pure white purifying light, it immediately produced a burst of thick smoke. The two types of energy were quickly neutralizing and melting each other. In the thick smoke, the demon bat rolled a few times in pain before quickly transforming into hundreds of small golden bats that scattered in all directions. She, the stone element Medusa, who had a head full of fiery snake hair, suddenly showed her might. Her beautiful eyes, which could frighten people's souls, flashed with a bright light. The energy in her body quickly gathered in her hands and flowed into the dark golden serpent bow in her hands. As she stretched out her arms, the bow became a full moon. Dozens of fire energy arrows were densely lined up on the dark golden serpent bow. With a whoosh, they shot out furiously. A row of fan-shaped fire arrows scattered out and strangely automatically tracked down every target in the sky. Coincidentally, every arrow accurately hit a small golden bat. All of the small golden bats that were hit by the fire arrows rolled around in pain and fell from the sky one by one. Although this kind of flame was not Nirvana flame, it was the fake Nirvana flame that the Gemini temple copied from Yu Yang's body using the replication law. This kind of fake Nirvana flame was perfectly combined with the stone element Medusa's snake hair. Its power was not something a normal flame could compare to. In addition, after Yu Yang mastered the Yang ability and understood the Heaven's Fury Fire Lotus, he helped the stone element Medusa refine and upgrade her snake hair flames many times. Especially after defeating Heaven Realms Yin Zong and Yin Zun and obtaining the powerful pure blue fire form's energy, Yu Yang specially merged it with stone element Medusa. Although it was not yet, her snake hair flames were already very close to the pure blue fire form. Furthermore, she could completely control it, making it one of the secret skills that the stone element Medusa had just mastered. The demon bat realized that after transforming into a small bat, it was defeated even faster and died even more miserably. It hurriedly gathered together and formed its huge form again. The stone element Medusa's golden arrow arrived and fiercely pierced into the demon bat's lips. Very slowly, the demon bat's lips were petrified. Its originally dark golden skin continuously seeped out the grayish-black color of stone and continuously deteriorated. From the sky, a purple lightning struck down at an extremely fast speed blasting a huge hole in the demon bat's huge wings. The supporting wing bones were only left with a pitch-black bone. Its hair was burnt, and its skin and flesh were completely destroyed. The demon bat in pain summoned a huge wild bull, bronze-ranked level 10. The appearance of this wild bull did not seem to be a qualified helper, but more like food. The demon bat pounced on the back of the huge wild bull and ferociously sucked its blood. The injuries on its body quickly recovered. As for the bronze-ranked level 10 wild bull, it whimpered twice and weakly knelt on the ground. Go and die. The ice serpent demon that had not attacked all this while directly chopped off the wild bull's head. At the same time, the Reaper Mantis descended from the sky and pounced on the demon bat's back. Using the same posture, it started to bite and suck the demon bat's blood from its neck. Little One Li's dual blades, Jiang Ying's crescent moon, and Bloody Queen Red's whip of agony all struck the demon bat's body at the same time. The demon bat that had just recovered did not even last for 10 seconds before its body was riddled with wounds again. Oh! The demon bat immediately transformed and demonized, turning into a 10 meters tall monster that was almost as tall as a demon king. A golden light flashed in the sky, like a small dragon emerging from the sea. The dragon-shaped golden beast glided down from the sky in an extremely beautiful posture. It opened its small mouth and bit the demon bat's head. It was different from a real demon king. The demonized demon bat did not have a huge horn like a demon king. Instead, it had 2 huge ears on its head. Without the protection of the demon horn, to the golden beast that could easily bite through a giant dragon's skull, it was like opening the city gates to a castle. There was no difficulty at all in attacking it. It quickly bit open the demon bat's head. It immediately drilled in. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo, who was so pleased with himself, realized that he had fallen into a trap. Yu Clan's third young master was only harassing him and not really fighting him. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo saw his guardian beast holding its head in pain and continuously hitting the ground with its head. He was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. Even if the guardian beast would not really die, this kind of humiliating defeat would greatly reduce its strength. It might even lose a part of its intelligence and growth potential. Scram! Demon Marshal Yin Shuo wanted to slap Yu Yang away and save his beloved beast. Don't be anxious. Let's have a good chat. Yu Yang looked at Thousand Goblin King's side. The silver light on his hands filled the sky, forming a rune circle. The most special one was the one and only eternal wheel that Yu Yang possessed. The tragic Demon Marshal Yin Shuo's hand was stopped in midair by the eternal wheel. Unless he cut off that demon arm, he could only wait for Yu Yang's eternal wheel to disappear. Only then would he be able to regain control of his demon arm. Just as Yu Yang and Demon Marshal Yin Shuo were fighting, Thousand Goblin King, who was at the other corner of the battle arena, came out from the light barrier. He had a smile on his face, and his hands were holding a ball of light. His left hand was white and had the shape of an angel. His right hand was green and had the shape of a 9-headed monster. When the light barrier completely disappeared, 2 extremely tired and limp crabs appeared. It was Xiang Yu, who was cursed, and 9-headed Sea Goblin King, who had yet to recover from his injuries. The 2 of them were even more tired and unbearable than a normal man who went to a brothel to call for prostitutes for 10 days and 10 nights. In just over a minute, their appearances had undergone a drastic change. Xiang Yu, who had turned into a demon, the smooth wings on his back had deteriorated to the point that he looked like a vulture. The ground was covered with dried gray feathers. His bright eyes had also become lifeless and dull. There was even a pair of dark circles under his eyes due to lack of sleep. Looking closely, that young face had also aged. Faint wrinkles could be seen on his forehead. The most obvious thing was that Xiang Yu's strength had dropped drastically. Now that it had dropped, he was only a level 6 innate. 9-headed Sea Goblin King, who was lying on the right side of Xiang Yu, was in an even worse state. He had already dropped from level 6 innate and was only a level 5 innate. He had aged so much that his hair had turned white and his face was as dry as a sick person. What? Xiang Yu realized that the curse in his body had not decreased at all. Instead, He had lost an immeasurable amount of pure energy. You guys are really fools. That's right, you guys did not hear wrongly. You guys are really fools, born fools. Other than you clan's third young master, you guys are not even worth mentioning in my eyes. Your intelligence is too low. You guys actually believed what I said? Haha, I really don't understand. You guys are so stupid. How did you guys survive until now? Thousand Goblin King happily sucked the 2 balls of pure energy into his mouth. His expression was as if he had eaten the most delicious food in the world. Separation inherent skill. Xiangyu now knew that he was wrong. There was definitely a problem with Thousand Goblin King's separation inherent skill. You guessed it right. Separation inherent skill. As long as the target is willing, it can separate almost anything. For example, the energy in your body, the treasured sword in your hand, the holy armor you are wearing, even your internal organs, blood, bone marrow, and brain matter. My separation inherent skill can successfully separate and take them away. You guys are already useless. Instead of wasting the pure energy that has not been contaminated, why not give it to me? After I control Tong Tian Tower and conquer Heaven Realm, I will occasionally miss you guys who have contributed a little. Thousand Goblin King did not look at Xiangyu and Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King again and turned to leave. Damn Thousand Goblin King. I have already pledged my loyalty to you. Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King panted heavily. He gathered his last bit of energy and roared unwillingly. Actually, you guys should be ashamed. Why did I lie to you guys? It's not that I'm especially smart or that my separation inherent skill is powerful. It's that you guys are especially stupid. Secondly, you guys claim to be a top-notch warrior and dream of becoming one of the 5 emperors of Tong Tian Tower. You guys actually only have this little bit of pure energy. You guys are the trash among trash. Even a dog under you clan's third young master's feet is better than you guys. Speaking of which, I feel a little angry. I wasted the number of times I used separation inherent skill, and you guys only contributed this little bit of energy. Thousand Goblin King seemed to be suppressing his anger. He took a deep breath and regained his original arrogance. If I did not kill you guys personally, the energy I extracted would have scattered. You two trash. I would have chopped you into pieces and fed you to the dogs long ago. Take care of yourselves. It's impossible for retarded clowns like you to become one of the 5 emperors of Tong Tian Tower. Living, to you guys, is already the biggest luxury in the world. Pooh! Xiangyu vomited blood. His eyes darkened, and he fainted. Kill you. I will definitely kill you. Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King waved his fists crazily, but he did not even have the strength to struggle to stand up. Talking to you guys is simply an insult to my intelligence. Thousand Goblin King curled his lips in disdain and flew up to the sky in an instant. His hand started to slowly draw a star pattern, as if he wanted to unseal the Sky Vault Star seal. He suddenly thought of something and stopped. He looked at Yu Yang, who was fighting below. You clan's third young master, aren't you going to stop me? Yu Yang had just pushed Demon Marshal Yin Shua back with a punch and laughed. I don't know how to unseal the Sky Vault Star seal. Just nice you can do it. When you take out the ancient Demon King's perfect body, I will get a share. Thousand Goblin King's gaze turned cold. Young man, don't be too confident. Pointing a finger at the sky, Yu Yang replied, Let me tell you, robbing is my inherent skill. Chapter 583. Really? Thousand Goblin King snorted coldly and looked at Demon Marshal Yin Sha. If you can't even kill you clan's third young master, don't even dream about Heaven Realm. I will kill him immediately. Demon Marshal Yin Shua hurriedly declared. In front of Thousand Goblin King, Demon Marshal Yin Shua was very respectful and did not dare to put on airs as an ancient demon. Xiangyu, who was cursed, suddenly woke up. He used the last bit of his strength to struggle up and staggered towards the exit. Demon Marshal Yin Shua was prepared to fight to the death with Yu Yang. His heaven-ranked power exploded. If it was in the past, he would still be able to hold on. But now that Thousand Goblin King had taken away his pure energy, he was only left with the power of innate level 6. If he stayed in this battle arena, he would definitely die. nine-headed sea goblin king quickly got up and followed closely behind. Senior demon Yin Shuo and Thousand Goblin King did not stop these two people from leaving. In their eyes, these two people were like ants, insignificant. Thousand Goblin King needed to focus on unsealing the firmament constellation seal formation, while Demon Marshal Yin Shuo needed to use 100% of his concentration to fight against Yu Yang. It was not a joke to let Yu Yang launch a sneak attack. No matter if it was the world exterminating wheel or the Nirvana flame, once they hit their target, they would definitely die a horrible death. Second form of demon. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo's roar was like thunder as his body ignited with a black hellfire. The horns on its head twisted and extended. In his mouth, his demonic teeth were glistening. The bone spikes on his back protruded from his spine, forming a row of strange thorns on his back. The scales became even darker and glossier. Hellfire was attached to them, transforming into a double layer of demonic fire scales. A huge ball of hell flame, in the form of the demon head, transformed into an incomparably hot raging fire demon shield on its left arm. On the other hand, more hellfire appeared in his right hand, transforming into an evil fire scythe. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo, whose body had grown to more than 90 meters, had a very special halo under his feet. It was like countless flames were burning on the ground in the shape of a picture. It continuously increased the temperature of Demon Marshal Yin Shuo's body and also continuously expelled the points on the ground. A huge domain power rose up. It was fiery red and looked like a semicircle. In his own domain, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo's power increased by a few times. He had completely unsealed his heaven-ranked level 3 power. His every movement carried the might of a heaven-ranked ranker. Other than Yu Yang, who was unaffected, even Xiang Yu and Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King, who had already escaped to the outside of the passage, felt like their necks were being strangled, and they almost fell to the ground. Yu Yang slowly closed his eyes and stretched his arms. The two sides of his body, the left and right sides, became completely different worlds. On one side, snowflakes danced in the air, and the air was cold. On the other side, the temperature was incomparably high, and it was comparable to hell. Other than Thousand Goblin King and Demon Marshal Yin Shuo's domain, which were not affected, the rest of the space was controlled by Yu Yang's yin and yang energy. It turned out that the very arrogant magma dragon had now withered. Apart from the torrential rain falling from the sky, it was in great pain. The bigger impact was because of the frost-cold qi condensed by Yu Yang's yin energy. If it was not for the high temperature of its body, it would have been frozen into an ice sculpture. The magma dragon wailed and wanted to fly towards its master. Storm Mermaid would definitely not let it go. She controlled the water on the ground, and like a tsunami, it swept towards the enemy. The magma dragon spat out hot magma and formed a protective layer around its body, trying to defend against Storm Mermaid's suppression. An ice blade pierced deep into its throat. The magma that was spat out halfway was forced to stop. The skill that the magma dragon was using was instantly interrupted. The recoil of the energy caused the magma dragon's body to tremble. Furthermore, the fatal frost that invaded its body caused it to be even more afraid. Trying to escape, the ice serpent demon abandoned her blade and placed her palms together in front of her chest. She condensed a ball of extremely cold qi, and when the magma dragon opened its mouth to bite her, she stuffed it deep into its throat. In an instant, the whole magma dragon turned into an ice sculpture. Then, the ice slowly melted into water, and the magma dragon's body was restored. The blazing queen bee in the sky was not willing to lose a helper like the magma dragon. It was forced to stop laying eggs and leave the crater of the volcano. It flew high up into the sky. It tried to save its teammates. The ice serpent demon raised both of her hands towards the sky and shouted, "Ice mist." Thousands of icicles shot out from the ground around her like thousands of sharp ice spears, piercing into the sky. When they hit the magma dragon and the blazing queen bee, they quickly turned into balls of ice flowers. They were like lotuses that continuously rotated and twisted, firmly freezing the blazing queen bee and the magma dragon within. The demon bat, whose brain was being bitten by the golden beast, was in extreme pain. It screamed continuously. It turned into a ball of golden light. It hoped to escape from the terrifying bite of the golden beast. Little one Li, who was in the sky, had been waiting for a long time. Her small hands released a purifying white light for the second time. The demon bat was unable to resist the destructive, purifying white light and had no choice but to return to its original body in the thick smoke. Thunder Naga's lightning, Bloody Queen Red's whip of agony, and hornless dragon Jiang Ying's crescent moon all hit its body at the same time. The heavily injured demon bat howled, hoping that its master could summon it back. If not, it would definitely die. At this moment, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo was strangely sleeping while standing. Sleeping Dragon Dreamland. This was Hornless Dragon Jiang Ying's special skill. It was a dragon race ability that could forcefully drag people into a dreamland. The weaker the enemy's mental strength, the higher the success rate and the longer the time of sleep. She was just trying out initially, but she did not expect that she could really make the heaven-ranked level 3 Demon Marshal Yin Shuo sleep. Although it only slept for 10 seconds, it was enough for little one Li and the others to surround and kill the demon bat. Having lost the support of its master's strength and willpower, the demon bat's demon core was bitten off by the golden beast. It was shattered and its body was heavily injured. Under little one Li's binding chain's inherent skill, it could only watch as its enemies dismembered it. When Demon Marshal Yin Shuo woke up, he realized that his guardian beast demon bat had already turned into a ball of golden light and returned to the grimoire world. Dead in battle. Although this was not an eternal death, the demon bat could not be summoned again today. Moreover, it would definitely be heavily injured and lose its rank. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo's gaze swept towards Jiang Ying, who was holding the crescent blade, and roared angrily. "It's you? You're the one who made me sleep? Damned Eastern Goblin tribe. I will tear you apart." "Continue sleeping." Jiang Ying snorted coldly. Another ray of colorful light appeared on her body and formed a beautiful sleeping dragon pattern in front of her. Before Demon Marshal Yin Shuo could even curse, he was forced to sleep again. He fainted. The magma dragon below had just struggled free from the ice mist flower. Before it could fly up, Little One Li, Bloody Queen Red, and Ice Serpent Demon arrived and attacked together. The magma dragon's head was chopped off and its body was torn apart. The golden beast even managed to snatch the magma dragon's hot heart. It held the hot heart in its mouth and shot it out like an arrow. The magma dragon's huge body crashed onto the ground. The storm mermaid's wave instantly drowned the magma dragon's body. When the wave subsided, what was revealed was a broken body that had already turned into black stone. 2 beasts had died consecutively, and they were even in their sleep. Even if Demon Marshal Yin Shuo was a heaven-ranked ranker, he could not bear it and had a splitting headache. What angered Demon Marshal Yin Shuo the most was Blazing Queen Bee. The blazing queen bee that he had painstakingly nurtured actually betrayed him on the spot. The spirit of heaven fire that was made up of thick smoke, flames, lightning, spirits, and storms was chasing after it. Spirit of heaven fire did not participate in the battle at first. She burrowed into the bottom of Blazing Queen Bee's volcano. At first, Blazing Queen Bee thought that she was not used to the storm outside and ran into its own volcano to seek refuge. Who would have thought that spirit of heaven fire, who had gradually awakened her consciousness, would learn to endure and wait? When Blazing Queen Bee went out to save the magma dragon, she immediately burrowed out and continuously devoured the eggs laid by Blazing Queen Bee. One by one, the Blazing Bee warriors that were about to hatch were absorbed by her without any struggle and turned into corpses. Without any effort, she killed all the Blazing Bee warriors that Blazing Queen Bee had painstakingly produced. Moreover, she had absorbed a large amount of fire energy. Blazing Queen Bee was unable to attack her, who was purely in an elemental state. Instead, it ran for its life frantically under Spirit of Heaven Fire's pursuit. To Spirit of Heaven Fire, Blazing Queen Bee was a tool that continuously produced energy and food. Spirit of Heaven Fire was not in a hurry to kill it. She continuously used her own heaven fire to burn Blazing Queen Bee. In the end, under Demon Marshal Yin Shua's dumbfounded gaze, Blazing Queen Bee surrendered to Spirit of Heaven Fire and took the initiative to contract with her, becoming her contracted beast. Demon Marshal Yin Shua almost vomited blood from internal injuries. The Blazing Queen Bee that he had painstakingly obtained became the enemy's spoils of war. It was fine if it was contracted with Yu Clan's third young master, but the person it surrendered to was a beast. All of you deserve to die. Demon Marshal Yin Shua waved his hand and released a flaming storm, intending to burn the entire battle arena into ashes. Ridiculous. In a half a minute that Demon Marshal Yin Shua was unconscious, Yu Yang did not attack. Instead, he carefully set up a star rune battle formation that imitated Night Empress' starry sky domain. Using the runes as starlight, they interweaved to form a heaven rune circle and then densely gathered to form a starry sky. This kind of star rune battle formation was definitely not as good as Night Empress' starry sky domain. However, to the current Yu Yang, he had already succeeded halfway. Thousand Goblin King saw the star rune battle formation that Yu Yang set up and frowned. He felt that it was a little troublesome. He knew that even though Yu Yang was fighting with Demon Marshal Yin Sha, the main person he was guarding against was still him. Thousand Goblin King did not expect Demon Marshal Yin Sha, who was as fast as a snail, to be able to defeat Yu Yang. He only needed to delay for a while. When he undid the Sky Vault Starry Sky seal, Demon Marshal Yin Shua would have completed his mission. The flaming storm was extremely powerful. It was originally enough to burn the entire battle arena into ashes. However, when Yu Yang clenched his right hand, the flaming storm instantly disappeared without a sound. It was as if there was a black hole inside the star rune battle formation that swallowed all the flaming storm. Break. Thousand Goblin King stopped the seal-breaking gesture on his hand and stared. The star rune battle formation changed its shape strangely. The sky full of stars trembled, as if it was about to fall. Yu Yang's body that was floating in the air also fell by 3 meters. Demon Marshal Yin Shua was overjoyed. He waved his fire scythe and slashed towards Yu Yang. His hands were still moving, but he was affected by Jiang Ying's sleeping dragon's dream realm and fell into a deep sleep again. Thousand Goblin King almost scolded him on the spot. Wasn't this guy's willpower too weak? He couldn't even withstand a beast's skill. Even if it was a divine beast, it shouldn't be able to fall into a deep sleep 3 times consecutively, right? An ancient demon with such weak willpower, it would be a joke if it was told to others. I wanted to set up the formation just now and let you go. Now, it's finally my turn to attack. Yu Yang rolled up his sleeves and pounced forward. Once he attacked like a madman 108 times. His moves were as if they could topple the mountains and overturn the seas, unceasing. The first thing Demon Marshal Yin Shua felt when he woke up was that his head was smashed in half by someone. Thousand Goblin King frowned. Yu Clan's third young master was not willing to use his world-exterminating wheel and Nirvana Flame. It was obvious that he was saving them to deal with him. This brat was really troublesome. Could it be that even heaven-ranked level 3 Demon Marshal Yin Shua could not force him to use his ultimate skill? Chapter 584. If Demon Marshal Yin Shua was dragged into a deep sleep by the sleeping dragon dreamland, he would only need 10 seconds to break free and regain consciousness. Then the Snow Mountain Giant would be in trouble. The heaven-ranked level 2 Snow Mountain Giant was very strong. Not only was its body over 100 meters tall, it was also protected by a frost-heavy armor. Along with its strong life force, other heaven-ranked level 2 creatures would find it hard to fight against it. Although the Thousand Goblin King was a little afraid of the golden-crowned Thornyflower Queen, he still believed in his Snow Mountain Giant, who had not fully matured yet. After all, the Snow Mountain Giant was a terrifying heaven-rank level 2 creature. Even the ancient dragon would retreat if it saw it. However, what Thousand Goblin King could not imagine was that the Snow Mountain Giant was dying, to be more accurate. Ever since it entered the battlefield of death, it had never been awake. The golden-crowned thorny flower queen had covered the entire battlefield of death with the pollen of the sleeping flower. When the Snow Mountain Giant was teleported in, it fell into an endless sleep before it could stand still. Of course, the sleeping flower hypnosis was only one of its methods. The other reason was because of the flower poison. If there was only one thorny flower, then the poison on the thorns would be negligible to the Snow Mountain Giant. However, when the Snow Mountain Giant entered the battlefield of certain death, what welcomed it was a sea of thorny flowers. Hundreds of thousands of thorns pierced its body. When these flower thorns pierced people, not only did it not hurt, it was also very comfortable. It felt as wonderful as a dream. When people fell into a deep sleep, it would also gradually melt their flesh and bones. Compared to the spider poison that could melt a creature's internal organs, this soul-eroding flower poison was 10,000 times more terrifying. Countless soul-eroding flower poison exploded when the spores were injected. It melted the enemy's flesh and became nutrients for the spores. At the same time, it absorbed the enemy's energy and turned it into new flower poison. If the golden-crowned thorny flower queen's flower poison was not so terrifying, why would the hell black dragon be afraid of her? Tens of thousands of thorny flower stalks weaved together, forming a thorny flower tree, slowly devouring the Snow Mountain Giant. Slowly, it digested it bit by bit. The golden-crowned thorny flower queen was extremely bored as she laid on a flower bed. In her hands was a book. It was a beast's diary written by Yu Yang. It recorded a part of the knowledge that the tragic guy's mother had passed on to her. The book in golden-crowned thorny flower queen Duo's hands was a note about cultivating ancient plant-type beasts. There's so many words that I don't recognize. I'll ask him when I get back. Duo tilted her head and looked at it for a while. She closed the notebook and rested her chin on her hand. In the dimension of Duel, as long as the enemy did not die, she would not be able to leave. Although the Snow Mountain Giant didn't have the ability to resist, it was still a second-rank heaven life form. Therefore, she could only continue to wait. Perfect digestion was not guaranteed. At the very least, she had to wait until the Snow Giant breathed its last before she could return to Yu Yang's side. Compared to the golden-crowned thorny flower queen Duo, who was so relaxed that she could read a book, the barbarian Cow Shadow Man fell into a bitter battle. No matter if it was the peak of heaven-ranked level 1 Heaven Realm Demon Dragon or the 3,000-year-old Raging Flame Giant Dragons that were equivalent to innate level 8, they were not enemies that she could easily defeat. In order to share the burden on Yu Yang, the barbaric Cow Shadow did not hesitate to step forward bravely. As his guardian beast, he would never give up on fighting. No matter how powerful the enemy was, they would fight to the bitter end. No regrets. The barbaric Cow Shadow tied one end of the god-binding chain to the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon's body and the other end to herself. As long as she stood on the ground, the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon would never be able to return to the sky unless it could pull the entire earth. A man who had the heart of earth was a goddess of war who would never tire. The 3,000-year-old Raging Flame Giant Dragons dove down from the sky hundreds of times and spat flames at her. A man did not dodge at all. She only raised her fists and rained down on the strongest enemy in front of her, the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon was extremely angry. This kind of undying and tireless enemy was the creature that it hated the most in its life. It opened its huge mouth, crazily devouring. It intended to swallow the barbaric Cow Shadow into its stomach. A man continuously rolled and dodged. The mysterious movement and battle skills that Yu Yang had taught her appeared on her body one by one. In terms of learning battle skills, she was the best among all the beasts. She was even better than Little One Li and Bloody Queen Red. Only she would meticulously learn Yu Yang's battle skills and engrave them in her mind. Then, she would temper them in battle. For example, Little One Li and the others would add in the battle skills of their race. However, a man did not do so at all. She believed that the battle skills that he had taught her were the best in the world. She learned them completely and never added in any impurities. Therefore, in terms of battle skills, Aman was the best at close combat and battle skills among all the beasts. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon's attacks towards her were simple bites and claws. It was unable to harm Aman's body at all. Its speed was too slow. It was the best at flying in the sky. For example, swooping down and wing attacks, dragon claw attacks, and flame breath attacks. The existence of the God-binding chain caused the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon to lose its ability to fly. It lost most of its battle power and could not even transform into a dragon. Stupid Heaven Realm reptile, you actually dare to challenge my master's dignity. Today will be the day you die. Aman flipped in the sky and skillfully used the God-binding chain to wrap around the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon's mouth. She made it look like a horse's mouth, locking its mouth. This made the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon extremely angry, but it could not break free. 1,000-year-old raging inferno dragon swooped down, trying to catch Aman, who was flipping in the sky. They already knew. On the ground, this female barbarian cow was invincible. But as long as she was in the sky, she would lose the support of the heart of Earth. Then, she would not be able to withstand a single blow and would be killed on the spot. Aman saw a shadow pouncing down from the sky and shouted angrily. She pulled out a gold-ranked dragon-slaying spear from the platinum storage ring that Yu Yang gave her. When the 1,000-year-old raging inferno dragon's claws were about to grab it, the spear pierced deeply into the raging inferno dragon's throat. The huge dragon's attack hit its mark. There was no possibility of dodging. An unstoppable waterfall of blood spurted out from its throat. It wanted to flap its wings and fly away in pain, but its body lost control and fell forward. It slid down, and at the same time, a long trail of blood was spilled out. The gold-ranked dragon slaying spear's damage to the dragon race was something that even the Dragon King could not withstand, let alone a 1,000-year-old dragon. The two companions of the raging inferno dragon immediately flew up in fright and shouted in panic. They did not dare to land anymore. As for the raging inferno dragon that had its throat pierced, it let out a painful cry. Its throat was hoarse, as if it wanted to ask for help from its companions. Then, before it could even raise its head, it had already uncontrollably fell to the ground. The second time, it struggled to get up. It stumbled. It seemed as if it wanted to ask for help from its master, the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon. But before it could even walk halfway, it was already heavily injured and fell to the ground. Aman did not hold back at all. She leaped over and spun the gold-ranked dragon, slaying spear like the wind. She raised it again and firmly nailed the raging inferno dragon to the ground before the Heaven Realm Demon Abyss could summon it back. The head of the raging inferno dragon was pierced by the gold-ranked dragon, slaying spear. It was completely dead. There was absolutely no hope. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon panicked. The female barbarian cow in front of him had this kind of dragon-slaying spear and was also bound by the God-binding chains. This battle was very dangerous. With a roar, the two giant blazing dragons recovered from their panic. They dived down and used their dragon breath to attack Aman, intending to force her to retreat in front of the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon. Although they were instinctively afraid, they didn't dare to disobey their master's orders. All of you died. Aman, who was bathed in blood, was like a war goddess as she threw the gold-ranked dragon, slaying spear with all her might. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon was very cunning. Although it was unable to completely drag Aman with the God-binding chains, it was successful in dragging her body. With a slight deviation in his movements, the gold-ranked dragon slaying spear missed its target and brushed past the neck of a raging inferno dragon, scaring the 1,000-year-old dragon out of its wits. The other dragon regained its confidence when it saw that Aman didn't have a weapon. It swooped down again and spat out a long column of flames. Aman stamped his foot, leaving a deep footprint on the ground. He soared into the sky. The second treasure appeared in her hands. It was the gold-ranked dragon slaying dagger. It shone brightly in Aman's hands. Aman flew up and rode on the head of the 1,000-year-old dragon. The gold-ranked dragon, slaying dagger, pierced deeply into its left eye. At this time, the heaven-realm demon dragon, who had quickly seized the opportunity, swung its tail and sent man flying. Rumble. Man's body smashed into the ground. For a long time, she was unable to get up. She, who was heavily injured, stood up again with the help of the Heart of Earth. She didn't know how many times the heaven realm demon dragon had sent her flying, but every time, she would quickly stand up and continue to fight. Each time, she would become braver than the last. The 1,000-year-old dragon that had lost one, I let out a wail. It flapped its wings, dripping blood as it flew away from this female barbarian cow with endless battle intent. The heaven realm demon dragon couldn't help but tremble in front of a man who was holding the gold-ranked dragon, slaying dagger that was dripping with blood. Kill! Man's battle intent soared as she shouted. She took a big step forward. Her powerful footsteps pressed towards the enemy step by step. No matter what kind of strong enemy she faced, she believed that she would obtain the final victory because she was protecting him. As long as she fought for him in her heart, she would be invincible. While our man was still fighting a bloody battle, a figure appeared in the battle arena. It was the yawning golden crown, thorny flower queen duo. After waiting for around half an hour, the snow mountain giant finally stopped breathing, and the golden crown thorny flower queen finally returned to Yu Yang's side. This result not only made demon Marshal Yin Sha, even Thousand Goblin King, who was preparing to release the last seal, felt the backlash of his beast's death. He still couldn't believe it. His heaven-ranked level 2 Snow Mountain Giant really died? Even if it died, with the Snow Mountain Giant's strength and physique, it wouldn't die without a few days. Why? Thousand Goblin King looked at the yawning golden crown thorny flower queen. He never thought that his Snow Mountain Giant would actually die in her hands. If the Snow Mountain Giant fought against the heaven-ranked level 3 Demon Marshal Yin Sha without 3 days and 3 nights, Demon Marshal Yin Sha wouldn't be able to defeat the Snow Mountain Giant. Now, only half an hour had passed, and this golden crowned thorny flower queen had already killed his Snow Mountain Giant. Could it be that she was stronger than Demon Marshal Yin Sha? I'm so sleepy. I still don't recognize a lot of words in the book you gave me. Golden crowned thorny flower queen yawned again. Wait for me to go back and take a nap. I'll come out later to help you fight that bad guy. You get sleepy every time you read. How can you do this? Yu Yang felt a little dizzy. Duo did not like to study and would often slack off and sleep. Otherwise, she would be even stronger. You can teach me next time. Duo acted coquettishly and hugged Yu Yang. She quickly went back to rest. Although she did not need to attack the Snow Mountain Giant, the thorny flower's attacks would still consume her energy and spirit. This was also the reason why she needed to sleep after every big battle. Actually, it was not only her. Little One Li, Bloody Queen Red, and Hornless Dragon Jiangying were also like this. Just like humans, they would also get tired. It was just that they could quickly recover after they were tired. At the entrance of the passage, Hui Tai Lang had already rushed back. He barked at Yu Yang, indicating that he did not complete his mission. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua were still fighting outside. They had not been crippled, or maybe they had already been crippled, but they were still fighting and could not be dragged back. Thousand Goblin King's face darkened. Yu Yang smiled slightly and waved his hand. All of you go out and help. Only Little Wen Li will stay. Now, the battle is getting more and more interesting. Thousand Goblin King snorted coldly. Yu Clan's third young master is really good at scheming. Yu Yang waved his hand. I don't dare. Actually, most of this battle was planned by Empress Jellyfish. This young master is just a patch. I forgot to tell you, this young master also has a patch inherent skill. Chapter 585. Boundless Ocean, Meteor Shower Islands. Although the battle in Meteor Shower Palace had ended, the battles in other islands were still going on. Originally, this was a war of rebellion within the Sea Clan. Because of Empress Jellyfish's plan and Yu Yang's appearance, it attracted the attention of many powers. In the end, many powers that shouldn't have appeared were also involved. Some were trying to fish in troubled waters. Some were trying to support their allies. Some were trying to quell the rebellion. Some were trying to sabotage. And some were trying to harm others without benefiting themselves. Outside the meteor shower islands, two figures appeared on the blue waves. Quietly, they observed the battle from afar. Let's kill the clan's third young master while they are fighting. He is a threat. We must get rid of him. Although the female figure was translucent, it could still be seen that she was the scarlet concubine who was injured by Yu Yang's sneak attack. Let's look again. Something seems wrong. The other figure was naturally the Scarlet Emperor, who had not appeared for a long time. Thousand Goblin King is very cunning and cherishes his life. He probably won't kill Yu Clan's third young master, but use him to suppress the Black Hell King. Now that the Black Hell King is here, he has attracted the attention of the Dragon Emperor, Sky Execution, Emperor of the Underworld, and the others. Even if we can't kill him, we can chop off one of his arms or a leg. The human body is very weak and cannot be regenerated. As long as Yu Clan's third young master loses an arm, his power will be greatly reduced. Scarlet Concubine was very clear about the human body's weakness. If there is no that woman, we can consider it. Scarlet Emperor hesitated. Which woman? Scarlet Concubine asked with jealousy. The woman called Jizun. After Scarlet Emperor finished, he suddenly looked around, as if he felt that something was wrong. Jizun, no matter how strong she is still a woman. If I recover my full power, I will definitely kill her and get rid of this annoying hidden danger. Scarlet Concubine harumphed unhappily. She was extremely jealous of Jizun because she had always thought that she was the most outstanding woman in the world. Who would have thought that what she had seen and heard in Tongtian Tower was that Jizun's power was comparable to the prison emperor's? With just you? A disdainful voice came from behind Scarlet Emperor and Scarlet Concubine. The Scarlet Emperor's expression changed drastically. Although he hadn't recovered his full strength, he didn't even notice that someone was behind him. What kind of concept was this? He had always thought that Jizun was below his imagination. He never thought that her true strength was many times stronger than what he had imagined. Other than the prison emperor, the Scarlet Emperor couldn't remember anyone else who could hide from his observation and sneak up behind him without him noticing. It should be that moment when he felt that something was wrong. This supreme martial artist had snuck up behind him. Moreover, it had successfully deceived his mental search. Jizun stood in the air with her back facing the Scarlet Emperor. The strong sea breeze blew over, but it became incomparably gentle around her, as if even the sea breeze had to lower its head to pay respect to her. The waves under her feet would also turn into beautiful ripples when they passed by her feet, as if they were afraid that if they rolled too violently, they would be disrespectful to her. Beside Jizun, the invisible Night Empress was also present. The Scarlet Emperor was also unable to see the true body of the mysterious Night Empress. He could only sense her presence in the quiet and lonely starry sky domain. The Scarlet Emperor from 6,000 years ago, her strength is even stronger than those fellows from the Heaven Realm. No wonder she could scare the brat Yu Yang. I respect you as a senior, so I'll let it go this time. But if you appear in Tongtian Tower again, I'll kill you. Jizun said coldly. The Scarlet Emperor's body shook slightly. His anger erupted like a volcano, but he quickly suppressed it and returned to his original calm and arrogant demeanor. Is that so? What? Bitch, how dare you speak such arrogant words and humiliate me, the Emperor? The Scarlet Concubine was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. In her heart, the Scarlet Emperor would always be the supreme existence. Any enemy who humiliated him, no matter if they were male or female, deserved to die. Anger exploded and filled her heart. She couldn't bear it anymore. The Scarlet Lotus fire danced in the sky. Along with the Scarlet Concubine's uncontrollable attack, it formed a destructive flaming storm. The Scarlet Concubine stretched out her sharp claws, intending to tear Jizun into pieces. At the very least, she wanted to press her down and make this enemy who humiliated the Emperor kneel down and admit her mistake. Overestimating yourself, Jizun didn't even turn around. She only stretched out her hand casually. The scarlet concubine's sharp claws that were burning with the scarlet lotus fire were easily caught by Jizun. With a wave of her hand, the scarlet concubine flew out of the coral reef island that was 10,000 meters away like a meteor. With a rumble, the entire coral reef island was smashed into pieces by the shockwave caused by the impact of the scarlet concubine's body. The Scarlet Emperor looked. His expression changed slightly. He wanted to stop her, but realized that it was too late. Not only did Jizun's strength exceed his imagination, it was even stronger than what his eyes could observe and judge just now. Even the Scarlet Emperor, who had no enemies other than the prison emperor 6,000 years ago, could feel the strength of this woman. She had completely exceeded all his previous estimations. She was simply unfathomable, making people unable to see her true strength. Formidable enemy. Other than the prison emperor 6,000 years ago, the Scarlet Emperor realized that there were already two formidable enemies in his life. One was the young lad whose potential made him jealous, the Yu clan's third young master, Yu Yang. The other was this Jizun whose strength even he couldn't see through. There is only one Jizun in Tong Tian Tower. If Senior Scarlet Emperor is not willing to go to Heaven Realm and still stay in Tong Tian Tower to scare little kids, it is really not something a senior should do. The Night Empress's heavenly voice resounded. We have already chosen Yu Yang as the new prison emperor's successor. Scarlet Emperor, Tong Tian Tower belongs to the new prison emperor. The vast Heaven Realm is yours to roam. As seniors, why do you still need to stay in Tong Tian Tower, this small place, to fight for resources with the younger generation? If seniors become an obstacle to the younger generation's growth, then there is no need for them to exist anymore. Seniors, please behave yourselves. Damn it. The scarlet concubine crawled up from the broken rocks, trembling in anger. But she was very clear that she was not Jizun's opponent. She had not recovered her full strength yet. If she continued to fight, she would only suffer more humiliation. The Scarlet Emperor waved his hand lightly, and the scarlet concubine flew into his arms. Golden light exploded from the Scarlet Emperor's body, blazing like the sun. In an instant, the injuries on the scarlet concubine's body recovered, and she no longer looked battered and exhausted. The Scarlet Emperor stopped the scarlet concubine's anger. He waved his hand lightly. When my strength is fully recovered, there will definitely be a battle between us. The winner will get Tong Tian Tower. He brought the scarlet concubine and disappeared from the sea surface like smoke. After the two of them went far away, the Night Empress, who was hiding in the starry sky domain, sighed. Ever since Yu Yang completely opened the 12 zodiac temples, the ancient seals lost their effectiveness one by one. In the future, there might be even more undying old men appearing. This is really a headache. Luckily, Yu Yang, that brat, improved very fast. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to handle it. Jizun did not answer, but from the endless battle intent that was emitted from her body, the Night Empress knew what Jizun's answer was. The Night Empress sighed slightly and said gently, "Compared to a vigorous battle, I actually prefer a quiet life. One day, there will be a quiet life." Jizun's words paused and added, "When we stand at the peak of the world and look down on all living beings." That's right. I'm really looking forward to it. The Night Empress in the starry sky domain and Jizun turned into a gentle breeze at the same time and disappeared from the blue aquamarine meteor islands. It was as if they had never appeared before. Only the coral reef island that was smashed and half sunk by the scarlet concubine could silently prove that there was a battle between rankers here. Meteorite Fort Battle Arena. Yu Yang's movements were very smooth, as if he was taking a stroll in the park. With the help of the Starlight Rune battle formation, Yu Yang dodged Demon Marshal Yin Shua's attacks with his extremely fast speed, causing the ancient demon to stomp his feet in anger. Unfortunately, he couldn't do anything to this slippery human brat. However, Demon Marshal Yin Shua still felt satisfied, because delaying time was more beneficial to him. Thousand Goblin King would soon release the Sky Dome constellation seal. When he takes out the ancient Demon King's perfect body, then his mission to stop the enemy would be completed. With the ancient Demon King's perfect body, Thousand Goblin King would definitely be able to kill this slippery Uclan third young master in one fell swoop. As for himself, he could easily leave this snow world that had been sealed for thousands of years and regain his freedom. The Sky Dome constellation seal was released, and a wave of extremely strong sealing power filled the entire battle arena. Even the heaven-ranked level 3 demon Marshal Yin Shuo felt suffocated. Thousand Goblin King was overjoyed. His eyes flashed with excitement. Finally, the ancient Demon King's perfect body belonged to him. With the separation inherent skill, the ancient Demon King's bloodline, treasures, power, potential, and might, everything would belong to him. As for the remaining perfect body, he could use it to make a fourth clone, becoming a fifth him. Revive the ancient Demon King? That was the most idiotic idea. Thousand Goblin King would definitely not revive someone who was stronger than him. The reason why he snatched the body before Ancient Demon King's soul was to prevent Ancient Demon King from reviving. Without this perfect body, Ancient Demon King would definitely not be his opponent. Thousand Goblin King was very clear, because before he reincarnated as a human, he was the strongest general under Ancient Demon King. He was also Ancient Demon King's son. Because his potential could not surpass his father, he could only choose to reincarnate as a useless human with the most potential. He succeeded. Thus, Demon Abyss lost a strong ancient demon prince, but gained a Thousand Goblin King who looked down on Tong Tian Tower. As long as he continued to grow, Thousand Goblin King had the confidence to surpass his father, Ancient Demon King. Of course, the fastest way to grow was to snatch the ancient Demon King's perfect body. Under the heavens and under the earth, I am the only one. Thousand Goblin King suppressed the excitement in his heart, used his energy to forcefully dispel the seal's energy, and search for the crystal coffin that sealed Ancient Demon King. As long as he obtained the energy of Ancient Demon King's body, not only could he surpass his father, Ancient Demon King, he could also surpass the prison emperor who was invincible in Tong Tian Tower. Congratulations, congratulations. Yu Yang cupped his hands, expressing his congratulations. Thousand Goblin King's face changed. It first became as pale as paper, then ashen green, then dark red, and finally black purple. He used all his strength to suppress his anger, and said to Yu Yang, "You clan's third young master, I know, just now, you must have stolen the ancient Demon King's crystal coffin. Hand it over. Not only will I not kill you, I will even give you a holy ranked equipment. Please hand over the crystal coffin before I can control the anger in my heart. Otherwise, I promise to destroy the entire Tong Tian Tower. I promise to do so. You clan's third young master, immediately hand over the crystal coffin." "What? I stole the crystal coffin?" Yu Yang's face was filled with an expression of "I feel wronged." He asked little Wenli, who was beside him, "Little baby, tell me, would I steal that broken crystal coffin?" Little Wenli immediately shook her head. "You didn't steal it?" Thousand Goblin King's eyes were filled with anger, as if he wanted to burn Yu Yang into ashes. Because of his anger, his face was distorted. "Of course, I definitely didn't steal it. I took it," Yu Yang replied proudly. Little Wenli also nodded cutely, indicating that he did take it. Chapter 586. No one knew what was happening in the meteorite fort. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo, who were engaged in a bitter battle outside, suddenly realized that the entire ground was shaking. Following that, the extremely sturdy meteorite fort started to shake, crack, and finally break into pieces. Two shadows flew out from the fort that was like a monster's mouth. They were 100 times faster than lightning and fought crazily in the sky. The shockwave emitted from their bodies was even more terrifying than Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo's shockwave, even though they were separated by 10,000 meters. It was obvious that one of the shadows was like a madman chasing the other shadow. The shadow that was being chased was fleeing all the way, constantly flying and dodging in the sky. Sometimes it soared high into the sky, sometimes it fell to the ground, sometimes it flew forward, and time reversed. In short, It was extremely cunning in its dodging, and occasionally it would find the time to blast back a shockwave. I want to kill you. The shadow that was chasing was burning with anger. His fists rained down. The energy from every punch was enough to instantly kill a heaven-ranked level 1 ranker. On the ground, countless deep energy craters were formed. However, in the midst of the rain-like attacks, the escaping shadow was still calm and unruffled. He even had a little bit of time to counterattack. Feng Zhu and Feng Jiasuo did not care about fighting the enemy and quickly ran away. This was no joke. If they were hit by the rain-like shockwave, even if they did not die on the spot, they would be heavily injured. Hui Tai Lang bit a dying abyss manatee and grabbed another one with his left claw. He quickly caught up to Feng Zhu and Feng Jiasuo. Bloody Queen Red and Hornless Dragon Jiangying cheered because they saw that the shadow that was constantly dodging and running away was Yu Yang. If it was someone else who did not want to fight, they would definitely look down on them. However, for the current Yu Yang, they felt that even if he ran away, he was still very cool. His opponent was the 1,000 Goblin King from 3,000 years ago. Others could not even take one punch from the 1,000 Goblin King. Who could make the 1,000 Goblin King flustered and exasperated? Only him. Only he could do this. Be careful. You must be careful. Hai Yingwu, who had already retreated more than 10 kilometers away, could still feel the power of the battle between heaven-ranked rankers. Let's go. Master will be fine. We have to leave this place. Storm Mermaid advised Hai Yingwu to leave. She, Stone Element Medusa, Thunder Naga, and Ice Serpent Demon would cover Hai Yingwu's escape. Behind Hai Yingwu were the most loyal ocean knights and clown fishmen that Empress Jellyfish had left for her, as well as Elder Xingpan, who would lead them to be loyal to the new Ocean Empress. Yes. Hai Yingwu raised the Ocean Emperor's halberd in her hands and raised an energy barrier, protecting the last of the Sea Clan's loyal forces as they retreated from the secret door. 1,000 Goblin King's 3 clones, Qi Yin, Qing Yin, and Zishuo. The 3 of them did not understand why 1,000 Goblin King's main body would be so angry. Their temperament was exactly the same as 1,000 Goblin King's original body. They thought that nothing in the world could make them angry. How could the original body, who was better at controlling himself, lose control like this? What happened in the meteorite fort? Could it be that the Yu Clan's 3rd young master had destroyed the Sky Vault Star Seal? Could it be that the Yu Clan's 3rd young master destroyed the ancient Demon King's body? The 3 clones immediately acted as one. Help 1,000 Goblin King's main body. The 4 of them surrounded and attacked Yu Yang. With their participation, Yu Yang immediately became overwhelmed. He was surrounded by danger and almost fell to the ground from their attacks. Do you guys know what I hate the most in Demon Beast? That is the Sword Saint. I hate clones the most. What main body? What clones? All of you can go and die. Yu Yang was also angry. After being hit by the clones a few times, he frantically opened his Nirvana fire wings. While flying and dodging, he waved the extremely long Nirvana blade in his hands and cut the enemies in front of him. Too slow. 1,000 Goblin King's main body was the strongest and had the fastest reaction. He easily dodged the attacks and could even counterattack. The other 3 clones were a little afraid. They first dodged the Nirvana blade and then joined hands to counterattack. They all knew that Yu Yang would not be able to continue attacking like this. Moreover, Yu Yang would not continue attacking if it was ineffective. As expected, Yu Yang retracted his Nirvana fire wings. When 1,000 Goblin King's main body attacked, with a flap, he escaped a kilometer away with a speed that was 1,000 times faster than lightning. The 3rd clone, Zijio, who was closest to Yu Yang, immediately opened his arms and condensed an energy ball that was as bright as the sun and threw it towards Yu Yang. Actually, he wanted to use his special ability to freeze Yu Yang and then kill him with his main body. But that ability was not perfect and had a huge weakness. He did not know if Yu Yang could break it, so he did not dare to use it. Compared to Feng Zhu and Feng Jiasuo, this Yu Clan 3rd young master, no matter if it was potential or killing power, was simply abnormal. The rankers that died in his hands previously, Too many to count. Forget about the 3 clones. Even Thousand Goblin King's main body, who was losing control of his anger, also maintained his rationality and did not dare to fight with Yu Yang to the end. After all, this brat had Nirvana Flame and World Exterminating Wheel at the same time. This is too abnormal. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasu almost cried when they saw this. Yu Yang is obviously not very strong. How can he fight against 4 people alone? Xiang Yu, whose strength had dropped to innate level 6, muttered in a daze. Forget it, if I die then I die. Fight, fight. Feng Zhu roared like thunder. He carried the prison dragon pillar and rushed towards the center of the battlefield. He was prepared to block one enemy for Yu Yang, even if it was just for a minute. Yu Clan, 3rd young master, could fight until this point and still not escape. He definitely had a way to win. Feng Zhu's confidence exploded, and he decided to go all out. Zhu Zi, this is too risky. Hey, this is too risky. You are from the Soaring Dragon Continent. You can sacrifice your life for the people, but I am not. If I die, I will die for nothing. I only came to Tong Tian Tower to play. Damn it. Not only did you make me guard the seal for thousands of years, you even want me to risk my life for you. This is too much. You people from the Soaring Dragon Continent are too much. You didn't even give me a salary. You still want me to risk my life? Although Bei Feng Jiasuo scolded loudly, his actions were not slower than Feng Zhu. His body was riddled with injuries, but he waved the beheading moon chain in his hands and rushed forward. Don't care about those 2 idiots. Thousand Goblin King did not care about Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo's obstruction. Not to mention that the 2 of them were already heavily injured. Even if they were not injured, they would not be able to catch up to his speed. You dare to call me an idiot? I will kill you. Bei Feng Jiasuo was furious, but he could not catch up to Thousand Goblin King's main body. He could only join hands with Feng Zhu to attack the first clone Qi Yan. Rumble. Over at the Meteorite Fort, a deafening sound could be heard. From the crack, an ancient demon that was close to 100 meters tall walked out. It was Demon Marshal Yin Shua. Demon Marshal Yin Shua's body had already transformed into the 3rd demon form. As he breathed, his nose and mouth were spewing out black hell flames. He seemed to have suffered a blow. One of his legs was slightly limping. Looking at Yu Yang in the sky, he immediately roared in anger. Damned human, Yu Clan's 3rd young master, you dare to break my leg. This humiliation, I will return it to you 10,000 times. Yu Yang did not have the time to reply at this time. He was surrounded by danger. A few times, he was almost hit by Thousand Goblin King's main body. Taking advantage of a good opportunity to attack, the 3rd clone Zijio caught Yu Yang's dodging trajectory. In advance, he laid an ambush halfway. He activated his special ability. In his prediction, Yu Yang would freeze him and float in the air. Maybe he could break free, but he would need at least a few seconds. With these few seconds, his strong main body would be able to kill this Yu Clan's 3rd young master, who had super speed. The best opportunity appeared. Be careful. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo had experienced this before. Seeing the light emitted from Zijio's body, they hurriedly warned. However, when the sound reached Yu Yang's ears, it was already too late. Yu Yang's whole body was floating in the air. He stood still in front of the 3rd clone Zijio, not moving at all. His body was still maintaining a flying posture. As long as the 3rd clone Zijio did not move, he would not be able to break free from this freeze inherent skill, at least not in an instant. Heaven-ranked level 3 Zijio. As long as he succeeded, he was confident that he could freeze Yu Yang in the air for a minute. Even if Yu Yang's willpower was especially strong, he would still be frozen for a few seconds. Even Thousand Goblin King's main body would be frozen for more than 5 seconds. From this, it could be seen that once Yu Yang was hit, he would definitely not be able to escape. Thousand Goblin King tore with his hands. A destructive energy exploded between his hands. One-hit kill. He did not care about the consequences. He only wanted to kill this Yu Clan 3rd young master in one hit. This young man, not only was he a formidable opponent, he was also extremely intelligent. He had always been fooled by him. The Sky Vault constellation seal had already been broken by this brat, but he did not expect him to remain calm and let him break the seal on purpose, causing him to rejoice for nothing. As long as he thought about this humiliating trick, Thousand Goblin King would gnash his teeth in hatred. In the soaring dragon continent, he was the most outstanding human. If this Clan third young master was more outstanding than him, then he could only die. Thousand Goblin King could not deny the jealousy in his heart, because this Yang was too smart, too cunning. No matter if it was the Nirvana Flame and world-exterminating wheel, or the unlimited potential of his body, they all made Thousand Goblin King jealous. Scram! The first clone Shi Yin and the second clone Qing Yin attacked Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiaso, defeating them and not letting them affect the main body's attack. Let me do it. Demon Marshal Yin Shua hated Yu Yang to the extreme. He rushed forward and wanted to tear him into pieces. Line up one by one. Take your time. I welcome you to kill. Yu Yang, who was in the air, suddenly spoke. The third clone Zijio was stunned. How is this possible? Could it be that his stagnation, inherent skill did not work? Why was Yu Yang still able to speak when he was in a stagnation? Could it be that he saw through the weakness of his inherent skill? The third clone Zijio knew something was wrong and wanted to escape. However, a cute little lamia lowly appeared and stared at him with both eyes. Zijio, who was heaven-ranked level 3, could not struggle at all. An irresistible binding force locked his whole body. He could not fly, teleport, or use any treasures. What was even scarier was that behind the little lamia, an angel-like shadow appeared. Her body was covered with a strange armor. She raised her hand, and there were several black metal pipes on her arm, aimed at Zijio's forehead. Terrifying energy. They gathered in the pitch-black pipes. Every pipe was as powerful as the ball of destructive energy in Thousand Goblin King's hands. Thousand Goblin King flew down quickly and used the destructive energy in his hands to attack Yu Yang. Now, he no longer hoped that his attack could kill Yu Yang. He only hoped that he could successfully force Yu Yang to retreat and save the third clone that he had painstakingly created. If he did not have the third clone's stagnation inherent skill, then his overall strength would drop by a lot. The third clone Zijio could not be lost. Too late. Yu Yang sneered as his eyes flashed brilliantly. A vast amount of energy exploded from his body. Countless Nirvana flames formed into a Nirvana flame pillar and rose up as if it could break through the sky. A fire phoenix with a wingspan of 100 meters rose from Yu Yang's head and pounced towards the ball of destructive energy that Thousand Goblin King shot out. It swallowed the ball of energy. Thousand Goblin King saw this and pounced down even more desperately, preparing to save the third clone at all costs. It was a trap. Thousand Goblin King now understood. So this was Yu Yang's plan. He had always wanted to kill his third clone. The Huitai Lang that he sent out just now was a kind of reconnaissance. As Yu Yang stretched out his hands, an irresistible power of the ancient law was released from his body. Thousand Goblin King's speed gradually slowed down until he was like a snail. Huitai Lang instantly turned into a world-exterminating demon wolf. When Thousand Goblin King reached out to save the third clone, he fiercely knocked Thousand Goblin King away. Battle Angel E Ka shot out a cannon. The target was the third clone that was unable to struggle, Zijio's forehead. If Zijio maintained his heaven-ranked level 3 power, then it was possible for him to block the cannon. But under Little One Li's binding inherent skill, he was unable to block or dodge. He could only watch as the destructive energy hit his head. Thousand Goblin King's arms suddenly extended infinitely and pulled Zijio's body away, but still stopped Ika from shooting. A direct hit, not a miss. The heavily injured Zijio, under Thousand Goblin King's pull, did not even retreat 10 meters before Yu Yang caught up. His left hand was holding the world-exterminating wheel, and his right hand, when extended, was the eternal wheel. Thousand Goblin King angrily watched as the third clone Zijio froze in midair again, and his arm was knocked away by that damned world-exterminating demon wolf once again. He roared in despair and quickly returned to help. However, Even if he came back to save Zijio, he knew that he was too late. The world-exterminating wheel that Yu Yang hadn't used for a long time had already cut into Zijio's chest. Under the protection of the armor and the heaven-ranked energy, the world-exterminating wheel was slightly sluggish, but it was unstoppable as it cut into Zijio's chest. Blood splattered. When Thousand Goblin King arrived, Yu Yang had already stabbed a Gui Tasong sword into the third clone, Zijio's forehead, and the heart, which was the source of the power, was stabbed with a Shuanghua sword. World-exterminating will directly pierced through Zijio's chest and came out from his back. Chapter 587. Zijio's originally shocked expression froze. Thousand Goblin King rushed over. Hui Tai Lang, who was in his world-exterminating demon wolf form, waved his sharp claws and drew a long trail of blood on Thousand Goblin King's back. No! Thousand Goblin King pushed back Yu Yang, snatched Zijio's body, and roared in grief and anger. To Thousand Goblin King, although Yu Yang killed his third clone, it was still him. It was no different from his own death. The only exception was that his original body was still alive. The first clone Shi Yin and the second clone Qing Yin also wanted to come over, but Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua kept them busy. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua were not Shi Yin and Qing Yin's opponents, but they fought with all they had. Prison Dragon Pillar flashed with a strange golden light. It directly imprisoned the two who were entangled together on the pillar, binding Qing Yin and Bei Feng Jiasua together. At the same time, Bei Feng Jiasua's beheading moon chain also released a glorious silver light, binding Qi Yin and Feng Zhu together. Qing Yin and Qi Yin continued to struggle, occasionally using energy explosions, hoping to kill their bound opponents. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua endured bitterly. As long as their willpower remained, and their consciousness did not faint, then the enemy could not escape. For 6,000 years, they had always been in a special state of cultivation, adapting to the power of their opponent's holy weapons. This kind of fighting method was something they thought of when they were board guarding. It was not self-torture. To Bei Feng Jiasua and Feng Zhu, they had already adapted to the binding power of Prison Dragon Pillar and Beheading Moonchain. As for Qing Yin and Qi Yin, not only did they have to resist the binding power of the holy weapons, they also had to defend against Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua's counterattack. They had already fallen into the quagmire of war. It was impossible to escape in a short period of time. Even if outsiders came to rescue them, they would not be of much help. Prison Dragon Pillar and Beheading Moonchain were two holy weapons. They could not be released unless the owner was killed. Demon Marshal Yin Shuor rushed forward with a rumbling sound. He wanted to fish in troubled waters. But when he saw that Zijio was killed by Yu Yang in a blink of an eye, he was so scared that his soul almost left his body. He immediately retreated and did not dare to go forward, afraid that he would be implicated. The Gui Tsong sword gradually dissipated, and the Shuanghua sword also quickly disappeared. But these two godly swords gave the third clone Zijio a fatal wound, which could never be healed or recovered. Yu Yang's heaven eyes divine vision saw, through Zijio's stagnation, inherent skill and the energy gathering area in his body. Zijio could no longer recover. Even if Thousand Goblin King used everything he had to save him, he would only be able to survive for a while. The world-exterminating wheel had already cut open the energy core in his body. Even if Yang didn't use Gui Tsong and Shuanghua, Zijio wouldn't be able to revive. No. Thousand Goblin King roared in despair. It doesn't matter, main body. Even without me, the third clone, you can still defeat all your enemies. You can also conquer the entire Tong Tian Tower and the entire Heaven Realm. Even if I leave my main body, you will have a new third clone in the future. I'm already satisfied that I've existed. Energy continuously disappeared from Zijio's head. Even more energy shot out like a fountain from the huge holes in his chest and back. He was originally heaven-ranked level 3, but after his body's life force was completely extinguished, he quickly dropped to heaven-ranked level 1 in less than a minute. Zigio, I will never have a third clone. The third clone will always belong to you. You are the most perfect person in the world. Thousand Goblin King's eyes were filled with tears. I really couldn't tell that you were so narcissistic. Yu Yang coughed a few times and gently wiped away the blood at the corner of his lips. Don't worry, I will send you to accompany the most perfect third clone in the world soon. Thousand Goblin King, today will be the day of your death. You claimed third young master. I swear that I will return it to you 10,000 times. Thousand Goblin King stared at Yu Yang with hatred. That day when your followers killed my servants and kidnapped my family, I also swore the same thing. Compared to the Black Hell King, I hate you more. Yu Yang's expression became serious. Your subordinates, Thousand Goblin Sect leader, and a large group of fanatical followers, for the sake of the ascending heaven art, to enter the heaven stairway, first plotted to poison fourth uncle and Miss Feng, then kidnapped fourth mother and Shuang heir, almost killing my entire family. You entered the heaven stairway, wantonly destroyed, attempted to destroy the foundation of Tong Tian Tower, caused the space of Tong Tian Tower to collapse, and monopolized the secret of God's ruins. I won't talk about those trivial matters, but you harmed my family, you deserve to die. Thousand Goblin King, don't pretend to be pitiful in front of me. You kill people like flies. You are the main culprit of the fall of Tong Tian Tower. How many heaven-ranked rankers and juniors with potential were slaughtered by you? You are simply trash. You relied on separation, inherent skill to steal other people's hard-earned energy to grow, and you still have the face to call yourself a genius. Today, either you die or I die. Thousand Goblin King regained his calmness. No, my main body, leave quickly. This is a conspiracy, an ambush. Don't stay here anymore. Zigio, who was on the verge of death, struggled and fiercely pounced towards Yu Yang. While I still have the strength to attack, leave quickly. Zigio, who was on the verge of death, attempted to use the last of his strength to stall Yu Yang, to let Thousand Goblin King's main body escape from the secret door. Using the last of his strength, Zigio threw a heavy punch, and with the last of his strength, fiercely struck towards Yu Yang. Battle Angel Ika stretched out her right arm, and at the same time, a heavy punch landed on Zigio's broken head. The moment Zigio was sent flying, she immediately changed her move and pressed her hand on Zigio's face and directly pressed Zigio's broken skull onto the ground. Rumble. There was a deafening sound. The ground sunk into a huge crater from the explosion. With Battle Angel Ika's arm as the center, it extended in all directions, 10 meters deep and tens of meters wide. Killed in one hit. Zigio couldn't even self-destruct at the end, and let Ika kill him in one hit. Yu Yang didn't care about all this, and only quietly looked at Thousand Goblin King, paying attention to his actions. The summoning grimoire beside him was shining. Like a halo of world, it was crazily absorbing the ownerless energy after Zigio's death. All the energy that could be absorbed and used were all converted into his own energy to level up. Thousand Goblin King was now very regretful. He knew that he was too impatient this time. If it wasn't for the fact that he had just left the Heaven Stairway seal and had not recovered his peak, he definitely wouldn't have watched the third clone die in front of him. Yu Clan third young master had many beasts, many treasures, and extraordinary potential. But this brat was too young. With his peak condition, he definitely couldn't fight against him. It was just that his heart longed for the ancient Demon King's perfect body. And in the end, when he schemed against the Sea Clan, he was instead schemed against by Empress Jellyfish and Yu Clan third young master. Thousand Goblin King was filled with hatred. He hated both Yu Yang and himself. The third clone was the best clone. It was supposed to be his most capable assistant in conquering Tong Tian Tower. Unfortunately, because he coveted the ancient Demon King's body, he killed him instead and lost a great general. It was too late for regrets. This was the true reflection of Thousand Goblin King's current state of mind. Rumble, rumble. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasua, who were riddled with injuries, couldn't hold on any longer, and both fainted. Their prison dragon pillar and beheading moon chain, because they lost their master's consciousness, loosened the binding of Qing Yin and Qi Yin, and fell to the ground weakly. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo had already used up their last bit of energy, but the enemy was too strong. After fighting continuously, because of their heavy injuries and energy exhaustion, they couldn't hold on any longer and fainted. Yu Yang looked at the two of them. He respected these two protectors who insisted on the prison emperor's orders. No one could endure 6,000 years of loneliness and persevere in guarding the seal. Especially since the prison emperor had already died, the order was no longer effective. They still guarded the Sky Vault constellation seal for 6,000 years. Even when the new prison emperor, Yu Yang, appeared, they still did not stop guarding the seal. Who was the most respectable person? People like Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo, who kept a promise for thousands of years, were the most respectable. As Yu Yang and Thousand Goblin King continued to confront each other, preparing to find the enemy's weakness to attack, in the battlefield of death, barbarian Cow Shadow Man was chasing after the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon and the remaining giant Blazing Dragon. A man who had the God-binding chains, the gold-ranked dragon-slaying spear, the gold-ranked dragon-slaying dagger, and had the advantage. However, when the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon saw death approaching, it used an extremely cunning skill. It escaped from the God-binding chains. It was a very special Dragon Clan skill, Death Substitution. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon swallowed the heavily injured giant Blazing Dragon into its stomach. Then, it used the Death Substitution method. First, it faked its own death, then it sacrificed its contracted 1,000-year dragon. The moment the 1,000-year dragon sacrificed itself, it successfully deceived the God-binding chains. The God-binding chains immediately passed through the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon's body, passed through its ribs, and moved to the 1,000-year dragon's body in its stomach, binding it tightly. In extreme pain, the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon did not have the time to spit out the 1,000-year dragon's corpse. A man who saw that the situation was not good directly pulled it out from its waist. The left side of its abdomen had a huge bloody hole, and its ribs were broken. When the 1,000-year dragon's corpse was pulled out of its body, the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon was in so much pain that it wanted to die. Fortunately, this painful price was exchanged for its precious freedom. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon did not care about its internal organs, broken ribs, and pierced abdomen. It hurriedly flew to the sky and wailed while using its energy to heal its serious injuries. Sly insect, you won't be able to escape. A man was very angry. The God-binding chains had not been completely refined by Yu Yang. If she could merge with Yu Yang's mind, then a man, as a guardian beast, would also be able to use it. As long as she could merge with the God-binding chains, this Heaven Realm Demon Dragon would not be able to escape from her. A man would not be deceived by its death substitution skill. Now that the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon had regained its freedom and flew into the sky, it would be difficult to kill it. In order to give the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon some time to recover from its injuries, the remaining giant Blazing Dragon swooped down without a care for its own safety. It spat out a long pillar of flames towards Aman. Its purpose was not to kill the enemy, but to attract the enemy's attention. Die! Aman was extremely angry. She felt that her body was about to explode. A kind of anger that she had never felt before rose in her chest. She had a premonition that the skill that she could not control, but would occasionally appear on its own, was successfully triggered this time. Aman's eyes became blood red, and flames spewed out from her nose and mouth. Her whole body flashed. Doom's eyes, which was not under Aman's control, was triggered. What was even more terrifying was that after Doom's eyes, the second skill that was even harder to trigger, Blood Pupil Double Kill, was released at the same time. In the sky, the giant Blazing Dragon that was spitting out a pillar of flames towards Aman and the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon that was lucky enough to escape let out a scream at the same time. Chapter 588. In the dimension of decisive battle that was created by the old fox and perfected by Yu Yang, the three of them fought fiercely. Princess Sisai, who was holding the prison emperor divine sword, clenched her teeth. She couldn't stop herself from falling down. Her entire body was bathed in blood. The gold-ranked white tiger armor that Yu Yang personally gave her was almost shattered. All the damaged areas were covered in wounds that were so deep that bones could be seen. Other than her stubborn and handsome face, there was not a single part of her body that was not injured. Her arms, shoulders, chest, back, lower abdomen, legs, ankles. Fresh blood had dyed her white tiger battle armor, dripping onto the ground. If it wasn't for the prison emperor divine sword supporting her body and her determination to fight to the death, she would have collapsed long ago. Compared to Princess Sisai, Xue Wuxia's injuries were more serious. Surprisingly, Xue Wuxia didn't have any external injuries at all. They were all internal injuries. Different from Princess Sisai, who stood as straight as a spear, Xue Wuxia couldn't even stand. She looked very calm as she sat on the ice pillar behind Princess Sisai, closing her eyes and resting. Because of the frost-cold chi that she emitted during the battle, the entire dimension of decisive battle had become a world of frost. The beasts that the fallen angel summoned were either killed on the spot by Princess Sisai or frozen in the ice pillars. Xue Wuxia's face was even whiter than the frost. Not a single trace of blood could be seen on her face. Other than her cherry lips, there was a trace of blood flowing out, showing that she was still a living person. Fallen Angel Mo Fei, who was able to severely injure Princess Sisai and Xue Wuxia, did not come without paying a price. Fallen Angel Mo Fei was cut in half at the waist by Princess Sisai. Everything below the waist had already been cut off, and he was also shattered by Xue Wuxia's lightning. The fallen Angel Murphy, who had lost half of his body, was only the beginning. On his face, his eyes were also frozen by Xue Wuxia's cold air, which Yu Yang called absolute zero. He completely lost his sight. If Xue Wuxia hadn't destroyed Mo Fei's eyes, the two girls would have been in danger. Now, the heavily injured Mo Fei was still being chased by Xue Wuxia's guardian beast, Blizzard Lady. He knew that as long as the two women recovered their strength, he, a fallen angel with the power of heaven rank level 1, would die. Fallen Angel Murphy tried his best to bypass Blizzard Lady and attack the two girls who were recovering. He believed that as long as he waved his sword, he would be able to kill them. Unfortunately, Blizzard Lady was blocking in front of him. No matter how hard Fallen Angel Murphy tried, he could not get past her. The most terrifying thing was that even if he came into contact with a little bit of Blizzard Lady's aura, he, a heaven rank level 1 ranker, would immediately freeze and slow down by 10 times, turning into an existence like a snail. With such serious injuries, you want to recover on the battlefield? Dream on. Although Fallen Angel Murphy had lost his sight and his body was cut in half, he was confident that he could kill the other party. This was because the other party's injuries were too serious. It was impossible for him to recover in a short period of time. As long as he found a small opportunity and waved his sword, he would be able to kill the other party. Murphy circled around very patiently, trying to break out of the encirclement under the obstruction of Blizzard Lady. The most important thing was that he was adapting to his blindness. As long as he adapted, he would be able to fly freely in this blind state, and the other party would definitely die, if not for the fact that he had lost his eyes and was not used to flying in this blind state. Murphy believed that he could have killed the two cunning human girls long ago. They were very smart, very cunning, good at planning and seizing opportunities. They did not care about their own safety and dared to fight with their lives on the line. They could be said to be very outstanding. However, they had one biggest weakness. That was, they were not strong enough. Their levels were really too low. Even with a divine weapon like the Prison Emperor Divine Sword in their hands, they were still unable to fully unleash the power of the divine weapon. Sword Chi Cross Slash. Fallen Angel Murphy felt that he had adapted to it more or less. He thought of a plan. First, he waved his sword Chi from afar and slashed towards Princess Sisai. He knew that this kind of attack would not be able to hurt the enemy at all, because that damned Blizzard Lady could absorb all long-range attacks. Sword Chi and energy shockwaves were completely ineffective. She could use her Blizzard body to swallow all of them. Blizzard, Shui Wuxia's guardian beast, Blizzard Lady, instantly blocked in front of Princess Sisai and Shui Wuxia. She absorbed the sword Chi cross slash in her body and used her Blizzard body to swallow and freeze the sword Chi. As soon as she changed from a moving state to a stationary state, she was immediately caught by Murphy. The fighter was coming. Fallen Angel Murphy teleported in front of Princess Sisai in an instant. His prediction was very accurate. First, he used his breath to determine Princess Sisai's position, then firmly locked onto her with his spirit. Finally, he teleported and launched a thunderous fatal attack. In order to ensure the success rate, Murphy did not use teleportation. He pretended that he was not good at teleportation and also pretended to be affected by blindness. All his pretense was for this slash. Princess Sisai waved the Prison Emperor divine sword and parried. As long as the divine sword was in her hands, even if fallen Angel Murphy appeared, he would not be able to defeat Princess Sisai. The power of a divine weapon was not something that a heaven-ranked level 1 fallen angel like Murphy could eliminate. Of course, this parry was still within Murphy's expectations. It was impossible for the enemy to just stand there and not move. Murphy had calculated that Princess Sisai would parry and even counterattack. He had already calculated everything. Therefore, when the angel demon sword in his hand slashed out, his other hand pulled out a small and exquisite angel short blade from the hilt of the angel demon sword and stabbed it towards the space between Princess Sisai's eyebrows as fast as lightning. He believed that Princess Sisai would definitely not be able to parry this attack. As for Shui Wuxia, Murphy would not let her succeed in saving Princess Sisai. The angel demon wings on his back flapped, and dozens of black feathers that were as sharp as blades shot toward Shui Wuxia. This human girl who was good at lightning and ice would find it very difficult to protect herself, let alone save Princess Sisai. Transforming his wings into arrows was Murphy's ultimate move. This was not something that an ordinary angel or fallen angel could perform. In order to learn this move, Murphy had killed and devoured hundreds of Golden King beasts of the porcupine tribe. There were even rumors of Murphy killing porcupines in the entire heaven realm. Go and die. I hate women who are prettier than me the most. Although Murphy was born in the heaven realm, he was not a pure-blooded angel. He was closer to the Wing clan and did not have a gender. He was neither male nor female, and his appearance was more masculine. In the past, he did not have any feelings towards men and women. However, ever since he met Pangolin King, he realized that being a woman was far more interesting than being a man. Since then, the fallen angel Murphy had an inexplicable feeling of jealousy and hatred towards all beautiful women. Beauties like Princess Sisai and Shui Wuxia. Of course, he hated them to the core. The one who will die is you idiot who is neither male nor female. Shui Wuxia's closed eyes suddenly opened wide. She jumped up from the ice platform and flew. Her speed was 100 times faster than lightning. It was as if she had never been injured. She pounced down. Murphy did not care at all. This woman was facing his arrows. She was not attacking. She was courting death. Who would have thought that the thing that scared him to death would happen? Shui Wuxia waved her jade-like hand, and a shining divine weapon appeared in her hand. It brought with it an unparalleled pressure. Once it appeared, all the objects in the space of decisive battle stopped moving. Everything was under its pressure. It was even more powerful and majestic than the Prison Emperor divine sword. The fallen angel Murphy wanted to escape, but he could not do so. He had lost his eyes, so he could not see the god artifact. However, he could clearly sense a god artifact that possessed the power to suppress and seal was smashing straight towards his head from its aura. Boom! The fallen angel Murphy felt as if his head was broken into pieces. The pain was indescribable. His soul also felt as if it was dragged out of his body and bitten by a prehistoric monster. It was broken into pieces and could not return to his body. He could not wake up completely. His head was exploding, as if there were tens of thousands of people practicing walking inside, or thousands of mammoths running inside. I was hit by the divine equipment. After a long time, Murphy finally remembered that he was hit by the divine equipment that Shui Wuxiu threw out. However, his mind was strangely slow. He did not know how to react at all. It was only until Shui Wuxia's continuous attack landed on both of his ears that Murphy woke up from the intense pain. Shui Wuxia used lightning on her left hand and ice on her right. She fiercely struck both sides of fallen Angel Murphy's ears. Escape, or else you will die. The fallen Angel Murphy woke up. He flapped his wings with all his might, preparing to escape. Where are you going? Princess Sisai's prison emperor Excalibur had arrived. She leaped, raised the prison emperor Excalibur high up, and slashed down heavily. Ah! The fallen Angel Murphy was indeed a heaven-ranked level 1 ranker. He dodged the prison emperor Excalibur's attack at the last moment. His dizzy head moved as far as possible to avoid the fatal attack. The moment the prison emperor Excalibur slashed his shoulder, he did not even care about his left arm and wing anymore. He escaped into the sky with his life on the line. With only one arm and one wing left, the fallen Angel Murphy still had the ability to fly. However, not only did the operation to assassinate Princess Qian not succeed, he fell into the two women's trap and suffered another heavy injury. Moreover, he was surrounded by danger and was almost chopped into two, dying on the spot. Murphy was in the sky, whimpering. He had never suffered such heavy injuries before. He had never been humiliated like this by his enemies. No matter if it was fighting or strategy, he was completely defeated by the two girls. This heavy injury was not the first time he suffered a loss. At the beginning of the battle, he had fallen into a trap. Shui Wuxia used her extreme cold qi to freeze his legs and almost got beheaded by Princess Sisai. At that time, Murphy used the Angel Excalibur to cut off his body below his knees. He thought that he could escape by paying the price of his legs, but who knew that he would be cut in half by Princess Sisai's heavy slash? Fortunately, he was saved by his beasts who sacrificed themselves to save him. That was how he managed to escape. When he was escaping, he was caught by the girl who was good at ice and lightning. He even lost a pair of eyes. He originally thought that this terrifying woman had exhausted all her attacks. Who knew that she was hiding an even more powerful divine weapon, waiting for him to fall for it? Who was this woman who was not even famous in the world? Murphy was puzzled. He could not imagine that such a terrifying woman was not famous in Tong Tian Tower. Of course, if Murphy knew that Shui Wuxia's intelligence was not inferior to Yu Clan's third young master, who was known for his cunning and had always been his best support, he would not dare to be so careless. Chapter 589. Don't be too happy. I will return the humiliation of losing my limbs and wings tenfold to you. Fallen Angel Mo Fei spat out a mouthful of black blood and looked at the two girls with hatred. Since the battle had reached this stage, it was impossible to continue. The enemy had two divine equipment in their hands. Even if Fallen Angel Mo Fei was not injured, he would not continue to fight. He decided to leave immediately. Anyway, this was only a decisive battle space and not a death battle space. The rules would not restrict one side to death. In the decisive battle space, as long as the time limit of the battle was up and one side admitted defeat, he could escape from the decisive battle space. The rules here were not strict. Fallen Angel Mo Fei took out a teleportation crystal and prepared to escape. When he crushed the teleportation crystal, Fallen Angel Mo Fei looked at the two girls with hatred. The two girls' eyes were calm, as if they did not see him escape outside the fort. Thousand Goblin King, who was crazily chasing after Yu Yang, suddenly stopped. He once again stopped in the sky and coughed painfully. Blood dripped down from his nose. He cried out in fear, "What? My Bowen!" Thousand Goblin King sensed that the Heaven Realm Demon Dragon had died. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon, my Bowen, who was a peak Heaven Realm level 1 with the help of 3 blazing giant dragons, actually died. The 4 of them fought against a female barbarian cow and died in just an hour. Thousand Goblin King could not believe it. Although that female barbarian cow had the god-binding chains, she was not a match for the Heaven Realm demon dragon. How could she kill 4 giant dragons? Previously, when Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen killed the Snow Mountain Giant, Thousand Goblin King could not understand why. It was obvious that his Snow Mountain Giant was stronger. Similarly, the stronger and more numerous Heaven Realm demon dragon and 3 blazing giant dragons were defeated by the female barbarian cow. This was simply an impossible fact. What kind of battle could turn out to be this bad? A teleportation light pillar appeared at the place where fallen angel Mo Fei disappeared. Thousand Goblin King saw it and felt relieved. Luckily, his fallen angel was strong enough. When the Snow Mountain Giant and Heaven Realm demon dragon died, only he defeated the enemy and returned to his side with victory. The golden light dispersed. Ha! A one-winged fallen angel shadow appeared in front of Thousand Goblin King. Under Thousand Goblin King's excited gaze, it slowly fell. Before he died, he stretched out his remaining arm towards Thousand Goblin King. He seemed to want to say something. However, blood had already sealed his throat. Thousand Goblin King's originally happy smile froze like a volcano that had cooled down. His face was deathly pale. Because his beasts had died one after another, the backlash from losing control of the contract had almost caused his head to explode. Blood gushed out of his mouth and nose like a fountain. Murphy, even you, the most intelligent person, will die in battle? What kind of enemy did you fight? The Thousand Goblin King could not imagine it. He watched helplessly as fallen angel Mo Fei, who was teleported back, became a corpse. Murphy, the fallen angel that he trusted the most, had teleported back not to bring back victory, but to see him before he died. You're back? You've worked hard. Leave the rest to me. You guys rest well. On the other side, Yu Yang acted as if he was welcoming a great hero. He tightly hugged Princess Sisai and Shui Wuxia, who had teleported back. He kissed them passionately to show the joy in his heart. At the same time, Barbarian Cow Shadow Aman, who was wrapped in god-binding chains, also returned. Aman was bathed in blood. She carried the gold-ranked dragon slaying spear on her back and the gold-ranked dragon slaying dagger on her waist. Her aura was unparalleled, as if she was a tireless goddess of war. She opened her arms from behind Yu Yang and hugged Yu Yang, Shui Wuxia, and Princess Sisai to show her protective heart. The long god-binding chains on her body was actually stained with fallen angel Mo Fei's blood. Thousand Goblin King instantly understood. This female barbarian cow who killed the Heaven Realm demon dragon not only defeated her opponent, she even took the initiative to teleport to the dimension of decisive battle and helped the 2 girls to kill Mo Fei. That dimension of decisive battle must have been tampered with by Yu Clan's 3rd young master. There must be a problem. However, it was too late to understand now. Thousand Goblin King's nightmare was not over yet. In the dimension of decisive battle, another battle was also nearing its end. The ancient demon, who was as high as heaven-ranked level 3, fell to the ground. Although it was the strongest war beast under Thousand Goblin King, it was destined to fail, because its opponent was the giant lowly, who was also as high as heaven-ranked level 3. Even if the giant lowly, who had the bloodline of the ancient Titan King, had not fully grown up, even if she had not recovered her memories and could not display her full power, as the Western Heaven Realm's guardian war god, she had supreme power that an ancient demon could not match up to. The giant lowly, who was covered in Titan armor, shouted like an army of millions roaring in unison. The ancient demon, who could not struggle to get up, trembled in pain under her arms. In the end, the neck of the ancient demon that could no longer resist the Titan's divine power let out a bone-cracking sound that made one's teeth go soft. The heavily injured ancient demon's entire head was forcefully twisted off by the giant lowly, and it was directly twisted off. There was no suspense in the battle between it and the giant lowly. The giant Loli had not even used 80% of her power when she killed the ancient demon. If not for the fact that the ancient demon was good at flying and dodged her attacks continuously, delaying for time, she would have ended the battle even faster than the golden-crowned thorny flower queen who was fighting the snow mountain giant. After breaking the ancient demon's head, the giant Loli prepared to leave. After thinking for a while, she frowned and brought the ancient demon's body that was cut into two. After a few seconds, the giant Loli returned to Yu Yang's side with the ancient demon's head in one hand and the ancient demon's right leg in the other. Thousand Goblin King's face was ashen. The first clone Qi Yin, second clone Qing Yin, and demon marshal Yin Shuo, who rushed behind Thousand Goblin King, could not help but tremble. They started to regret. If they knew it would turn out like this, they would definitely not have fought with this terrifying Yu Clan third young master. They originally thought that this was the easiest enemy to deal with. Who would have known that this Yu Clan third young master was the real nightmare? Compared to the ancient demon king soul that they had no information about, the Scarlet Emperor who was hiding and had terrifying power, the Black Hell King who was cunning and not to be underestimated, the Ji Zun who was ranked number 1 in Tong Tian Tower, Thousand Goblin King, and the others had always thought that the new prison Emperor Yu Yang, who was extremely talented and had limitless potential, was the easiest to deal with. After all, Yu Yang was too young, so young that it was shocking. What kind of cultivation could a 20-year-old brat have? 2 years ago, this brat had just stepped into the innate realm. Even if he could fly, he would not be his opponent. This was what Thousand Goblin King thought. Hence, defeating a young brat like Yu Yang who had the potential to grow quickly was his first choice. It was also the easiest goal to achieve. No one would have expected that even if Nine-Headed Sea Goblin King, Xiang Yu, and the other rebels had left their sights, even if the Demon Brothers had already exhausted the enemy's strength, even if he had released the sealed demon Marshal Yin Shuo to become his powerful helper, even if he had powerful heaven-ranked beasts, each of which was enough to sweep Tong Tian Tower. Even so, he was still defeated badly in the battle with this Yu Clan third young master. Now, Thousand Goblin King understood a little why Yu Yang would become the new prison emperor's successor, why this young man could come back alive from the death arena, why he could kill Heaven Realm's rankers and capture Heaven Realm's beasts, why he could defeat the Black Hell King who had awakened earlier and plotted for a long time. The reason was that this brat had something that no one else could have. Holy ranked equipment, divine ranked equipment, battle angel, nirvana flame, world exterminating wheel, barbarian cow lady, ancient titan, golden crown thorny flower queen. Anyone who had any of these could be ranked as a super ranker. And this Yu Clan third young master had all of them. No, my holy grimoire, please don't be like this. Don't abandon me. Thousand Goblin King's grimoire automatically floated out. The grimoire that had reached the level of a holy grimoire suddenly emitted a bright light and scattered into countless stars, disappearing into the sky. The holy grimoire continued to shrink and turn its pages. Some abilities and law rewards that could only be obtained by a holy grimoire all disappeared. Because of the death of his beasts and the loss of his third clone, Thousand Goblin King's grimoire could no longer maintain its holy grimoire state. It dropped to Diamond Grimoire, high level under Thousand Goblin King's desperate gaze. It dropped to intermediate level. In the end, a holy grimoire with unlimited potential actually dropped to Diamond Grimoire beginner level. Thousand Goblin King used his separation inherent skill to create 3 clones. Each of them was a special existence like a beast. Because of Qi Yin, Qing Yin, and Zi Jiao, these 3 special clones, in addition to the ancient demon, Snow Mountain Giant, Heaven Realm Demon Dragon, and Fallen Angel, Thousand Goblin King's grimoire evolved and became the legendary Holy Grimoire. Because of this, his ambition expanded rapidly, reaching the unparalleled ambition of conquering Heaven Realm in the future. Today, after losing the battle, he immediately returned to his original state. He used 1,000 years to upgrade his grimoire to a holy grimoire. In just 1 hour, his 1,000 years of hard work went down the drain. Thousand Goblin King wanted to cry, but no tears came out. His third clone Zgeo could not be revived and could not be created again. The dead ancient demon was his loyal subordinate. Even though it had reincarnated into a human, it did not hesitate to form a contract with him and continue to assist him. The Heaven Realm Demon Dragon, the Snow Mountain Giant, and the fallen Angel Mo Fey were not guardian beasts. Death meant farewell. You clan's third young master. This hatred is worse than killing your father and stealing your wife. It is worse than destroying your country. Thousand Goblin King kept his grimoire and clenched his trembling hands. He took a deep breath and regained his calmness. I admit that I lost this battle. I underestimated you before, but I won't do it again in the future. In the future, I will repay you 10,000 times. I will definitely make you suffer so much that you wish you were dead. What a joke. Do you think you still have a future? Yu Yang kept the heavily injured Shui Wuxia and Princess Sisai and let them return to the grimoire world to rest. Little One Li, man, Battle Angel Ika and Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen Duo stood behind him. Ever since Black Hell King used betrayal, inherent skill to escape from the death arena, Yu Yang had learned his lesson. Once he attacked, he would not let his enemy escape easily. Either he did not attack, or once he attacked, he would completely defeat his enemy. Chapter 590. Far away at the secret door, Bloody Queen Red, Hornless Dragon Jiang Ying, Hai Ying Wu, Elder Xing Pan, Elder Nan Gong, and the two Abyss Manatees were all quietly waiting for Yu Yang. Once he came out, he would immediately close the secret door and seal the enemies inside forever. Even if he could not kill the enemies, he would not let them leave. This was Yu Yang's initial plan. Hui Tai Lang flew back and then flew out again, dragging Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo, who were on the verge of death. Prison Dragon Pillar bound Bei Feng Jiasuo, while beheading Moon Chain bound Feng Zhu. They were not fighting. They were protecting each other. Both of them used their own treasures to protect each other. Prison Dragon Pillar and beheading Moon Chain were unable to protect their masters, but if they were used with tacit understanding, they could protect the enemy from external attacks. If they did not use the defensive properties of Prison Dragon Pillar and beheading Moon Chain, they would have died in the battle between Thousand Goblin King and Yu Yang. The shockwave from the battle was not something that flesh and blood could withstand. Feng Zhu and Bei Feng Jiasuo had used up all their strength. Hui Tai Lang brought the two of them out of the secret door and immediately flew back to continue helping Yu Yang. Although Thousand Goblin King suffered a huge blow, he was extremely strong. Even if Yu Yang had Battle Angel Ika, Man, Duo, and Little One Li to fight together, it would still be difficult for him to gain the upper hand. So after Hui Tai Lang escorted everyone out of the secret door, he immediately rushed back to join the battle. In the beginning, the angry Thousand Goblin King released a terrifying power and chased after Yu Yang. Yu Yang did not even have time to breathe as he dodged all the attacks. There were a few times when Little One Li had to use her Binding Chain's inherent skill to escape Thousand Goblin King's fatal attacks. With the addition of Hui Tai Lang, the battle slowly turned towards Yu Yang's side. Although Man was obviously not a match for the first clone Qi Yin, she was never tired. No matter how many times Qi Yin knocked her down, Man could always stand up quickly. The battle between the second clone Qi Yin and the Golden Crown Thorny Flower Queen was also in a deadlock. The only one who had the upper hand was the giant Lowly. She made Demon Marshal Yin Shuo very depressed. Even now, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo still had the power of heaven ranked level 3. Once he recovers his full power, he would reach the peak of Heaven Realm level 4. However, it was beaten up by the giant Lowly until it lost its temper. If an ancient demon of the same level met an ancient titan, it was destined to be a tragedy. Moreover, this ancient titan was the Titan royalty, the guardian war god of the ancient titan race. Luckily, the giant Lowly had not grown up yet. Otherwise, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo would have been beaten up badly by her. Charge! The giant Lowly's shout was like thunder, shaking the heaven and earth. Every time she charged, she would send Demon Marshal Yin Shua flying. On the contrary, Demon Marshal Yin Shua used all his evil energy, demonic thoughts, and hellfire, but he was unable to hurt her. This was because she was completely immune to negative mental states. Even the hellfire that the ancient demon was born with was unable to hurt her, who had the Titan armor to protect her. The battle was still going on. After an hour, the passive Yu Yang gradually turned the situation around. Thousand Goblin King was very strong, but he was not indefatigable. He could not be like a man who had the heart of earth and absorb energy from the ground to replenish herself. Under Yu Yang's harassment, his exhaustion was decreasing. When he wanted to attack Yu Yang, this Lai Yu clan's third young master would quickly escape. On the contrary, when Thousand Goblin King wanted to leave, this Yu clan's third young master would immediately fight back with his life on the line. As for Yu Yang's motive, Thousand Goblin King was very clear. Yu Yang wanted to tire him to death. A battle of endurance. A battle of endurance. If it was in the past, Thousand Goblin King was very confident that he could win against Yu Yang. But now, he no longer had the Holy Grimoire. He had also lost his Heaven Realm Demon Dragon Mo Fei, Heaven Realm Demon Dragon My Bo En, Snow Mountain Giant, and Ancient Demon. Most importantly, he had lost his third clone, Zijio. If he fought with Yu Yang again, Thousand Goblin King believed that even if he escaped from the secret door, even if Dragon Emperor, Sky Execution, Night Empress, and Ji Zun did not attack, Black Hell King and Scarlet Emperor would not let him go. Thousand Goblin King could not go all out. He had to have a last resort. Hence, he was angry at Yu Yang's harassment. On the surface, he was attacking, but he was always thinking of a way to escape. If there was only Yu Yang, Thousand Goblin King would be better off. The problem was, beside Yu Yang, there was still the Lamia demon Lowly, who had a terrifying binding inherent skill. The dog that could transform into a world-exterminating demon wolf, and the ancient divine weapon Battle Angel. The battle continued. 2 hours passed. Yu Yang had already recovered from his initial disadvantage. With the support of Little Wen Li and the others, he was barely on par with Thousand Goblin King. Thousand Goblin King tried to escape many times, but he failed. He was intercepted by Yu Yang halfway. Moreover, once he had the intention to escape, Battle Angel Yi Ka and Hui Tai Lang would attack the first and second clone. If he lost the two of them, Thousand Goblin King felt that he could not even be compared to Black Hell King. Forget about the Scarlet Emperor and his dream of controlling Tong Tian Tower and conquering Heaven Realm. Without the clones, it was impossible to achieve those. From then on, he could only be a mediocre person. Boom! Demon Marshal Yin Shua tried everything, but in the end, he still could not win against the giant Lowly. He could not remember how many times he was beaten to the ground by this female titan. But this time, Demon Marshal Yin Shua did not jump up immediately like before. Instead, he roared at Thousand Goblin King. "I have tried my best. The enemy is too strong. Your Highness, let's go. We really can't fight anymore." Not to mention it, even the first doppelganger, Crimson Flame, and the second doppelganger, Green Flame, were exhausted. They also hoped that Thousand Goblin King would make a decision and leave this place. Of course, if Thousand Goblin King decided to fight till the end, then they would definitely obey. Giant Lowly's chest heaved up and down as she gasped for breath. She also felt tired, but her high fighting spirit allowed her to persevere and continue to charge towards the enemy. "All of you leave immediately. I will bring up the rear." Thousand Goblin King suddenly gave up on Yu Yang and appeared in front of Demon Marshal Yin Shua, forcing the giant Lowly to retreat. At the same time, he created an energy shield. It refracted the rhombus light shock wave shot by Battle Angel Yi Ka and bounced it off, causing it to fly towards the sky. Thousand Goblin King was extremely pained. Because he missed the chance to kill Yu Yang today, he would not have such a good chance in the future. With Yu Yang's growth, after not seeing him for a few months, he might have already caught up to him. In a few years, this brat might surpass him. No matter how tired he was, Thousand Goblin King wanted to persevere until he killed Yu Yang. This Yu clan's third young master was also very tired, but he could only grit his teeth and persevere. As long as this brat had any flaws that he could catch, he would definitely die. Regrettably, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo, the first clone Qi Yin and the second clone Qing Yin could no longer persevere. If not for the fallen angel, Heaven Realm Demon Dragon, and Snow Mountain Giant dying in battle, how would he be in such a difficult situation? Thousand Goblin King knew that under the situation where he could no longer persevere, forcefully fighting with Yu Yang was not only meaningless, it was also very dangerous. Let's not talk about when he could take down Yu Yang. Even if he could take him down and escape from the secret door, he might be attacked by Scarlet Emperor, Black Hell King, Ancient Demon King's New Soul Carrier, Sky Execution, Dragon Emperor, Emperor of the Underworld, Night Empress, or even Jizun. The first doppelganger Qi Yin, the second doppelganger Qing Yin, and Demon Elder Yin Shuo, who had yet to recover his peak strength, were his last helpers. If one of them died, it would be a huge loss to his overall strength. He who had lost his holy grimoire could not afford to lose anymore. Let's go. Thousand Goblin King used his own power to take on all the attacks, resisting all the attacks. Understood. Demon Marshal Yin Shuo, Qi Yin, and Qing Yin did not hesitate. They immediately ran for their lives towards the secret door. Leave Thousand Goblin King to me. I alone am enough. You guys kill him. Take advantage of his weakness and kill him. Today is the best chance to kill Thousand Goblin King. Yu Yang's killing intent sword. He stabbed the prison emperor's 7 stars pillar into the ground and summoned his grimoire at the same time. The elemental domain of world gave his side the biggest boost. On the other hand, Thousand Goblin King's world was in a chaotic state, continuously absorbing the energy from the surrounding space. Yu Yang, who had reached a berserk state, waved his fists and fought against Thousand Goblin King. Both of them did not defend themselves, purely relying on treasures or beasts to protect themselves. They waved their fists and attacked each other. Both of them were extremely ruthless to themselves. Facing the fists of death, they did not retreat. Until now, Thousand Goblin King was truly shocked at Yu Clan's third young master's hidden strength. After fighting for so long, this brat actually still had such a strong hidden strength. If he did not want to escape from the secret door, he believed that this brat would continue to hide his strength and pretend that he could not win against him to deceive him. Hit, 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 hit. Yu Yang waved his fists like a storm. At first, he was evenly matched with Thousand Goblin King, but very quickly, the speed of his fists increased, gradually suppressing Thousand Goblin King's attacks. In the end, Thousand Goblin King was forced into a defensive position. Damn it! Thousand Goblin King had an illusion of death. Damn Yu Clan's third young master. He did not expect him to be so strong. Could it be that he would really die here today? Thousand Goblin King was shocked, and his energy exploded. Sending Yu Yang flying, he quickly retreated in the opposite direction of the secret door. Yu Yang chased after him relentlessly. He would definitely not let Thousand Goblin King be more than a kilometer away from him. This was because this distance was controlled by Yu Yang's spirit and energy. Once Thousand Goblin King was more than a kilometer away, he could easily use his teleportation skill or teleportation crystal to escape to the secret door and escape from this snow world. As long as Yu Yang was still within a kilometer, Thousand Goblin King would not be able to escape. Thousand Goblin King escaped in the opposite direction of the secret door. He did not want to escape immediately. He had to create an opportunity for Demon Elder Yin Shuo, the first clone Qi Yin and the second clone Qing Yin to escape first. Qi Yin, Qing Yin, and Demon Elder Yin Shuo escaped to the secret door. They were shocked to find that the secret door was closing. From a small gap in the middle, they could see that the 2 girls who had entered Yu Clan's third young master's grimoire world were actually standing outside the secret door, staring coldly at them. They had divine equipment in their hands. As long as any of them tried to enter the secret door, they believed that the divine equipment would overwhelm them. The person who tried to enter the secret door would be caught by the secret door and die without a burial. They were desperate. Even if one of the three of them could escape, the other two would not be able to leave. Moreover, their boss Thousand Goblin King was still inside. Chi-Yin and the others stopped in their tracks and watched the secret door close. The control of the secret door was already in the enemy's hands. There was no way to escape. There was nothing they could do. Hui Tai Lang was the fastest. Man, Duo, Battle Angel E Ka, and the giant Loli also caught up. At this moment, Thousand Goblin King, who saw the secret door close, suddenly stopped and sighed. Surprisingly, he pleaded to Yu Yang. "You clan's third young master. I hate you, and you hate me. However, there is no need for us to fight to the death today. If we do that, it will be too easy for the Black Hell King and the Scarlet Emperor. Don't forget, there is still the ancient Demon King's soul carrier in Tong Tian Tower. That guy is eyeing you covetously. Maybe he has already snuck into your side and become a member of your clan. It won't be easy for you to kill me. Even if you kill me, I will perish together with you. You will definitely be heavily injured. Maybe after this battle, you won't have the spirit and potential you had before. You clan's third young master. Let's find another time to fight to the death. You can go and kill the Black Hell King and the Scarlet Emperor first. I am no longer the biggest threat to your life. If you're willing to stop, then I will give you the method to identify the ancient Demon King's soul carrier in exchange. Don't you want to know who the ancient Demon King's soul carrier has become? I was almost convinced by you again." Yu Yang nodded and said seriously, "What you said makes sense. However, I want to tell you that I will never trust my enemies. Forget about living enemies. Even if they are dead, I will not trust them. Thousand Goblin King, repent. You should not have made me your enemy. As my enemy, there is only one result, and that is death." Chapter 591. 6 hours later, the battle was still ongoing. Thousand Goblin King was the most resilient opponent that Yu Yang had ever met in his life. He was cunning and had a strong will. Even if he was in an extremely dangerous situation, he could still persevere and fight on. He would not be discouraged like other warriors. Little Wan Li, Man, Duo, Battle Angel, and Hui Tai Lang had just defeated the first doppelganger Chi-Yin and the second doppelganger Qin-Yin. They were rushing over to help Yu Yang to attack Thousand Goblin King together. As for Demon Marshal Yin Shuo, he could not hold on any longer. 3 hours ago, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo had already asked Thousand Goblin King for help. When he escaped in a Thousand Goblin King's grimoire world, Yu Yang successfully killed him and split his body into two. If it was not for the ancient demon's special body that allowed him to not really die as long as his demon heart was not destroyed, and if Demon Marshal Yin Shuo was a human, he would definitely be dead. Of course, after losing half of his body, even if Demon Marshal Yin Shuo could recover, his power would be greatly reduced. It was unlikely that he would have the power of a heaven-ranked level 3. In the end, Demon Marshal Yin Shuo was lucky to be able to maintain his heaven-ranked level 2. Chi-Yin and Qin-Yin also escaped in a Thousand Goblin King's grimoire world. They were already completely crippled. Chi-Yin was almost swallowed by Hui Tai Lang, but he still spat him out in the end. Hui Tai Lang's level and power were still not enough. The time that he could maintain the world-exterminating demon wolf was too short. Otherwise, Chi-Yin would definitely be dead. Does God really want me to die? Thousand Goblin King was also injured all over. Facing Hui Tai Lang and little Wan Li, who were slowly surrounding him, he muttered to himself, "You should think about how many good things you have done. When you exterminated someone else's family, when you exterminated someone else's country, when you exterminated someone else's entire continent, did you ever think that you would have such a day? Do you remember? You commanded your fanatical believers to cleanse the valley of butterflies and flowers, causing blood to flow like a river. Just the number of women who died numbered in the tens of thousands. Before that, you ordered the army to destroy the valley of butterflies and flowers' predecessor, the Kingdom of Dawn. You killed millions of people, creating a tragic scene of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Furthermore, in order to obtain the secret of the gods' ruins, you instigated the ancient Demon King to invade the Heaven Stairway. Then, You colluded with the Black Hell King to betray the prison emperor, causing the two supreme rankers to suffer great losses, and even attracted the attention of the Heaven Realm rankers. If it wasn't for you, how could the Heaven Stairway be closed? How did Tong Tian Tower end up in such a pathetic state? People always thought that the Black Hell King was a traitor, but the biggest traitor of Tong Tian Tower is you, Thousand Goblin King. Yu Yang shouted angrily as he slowly increased his power. Did the Black Hell tell you? Thousand Goblin King thought that it was the Black Hell King who told Yu Yang. For the past 3,000 years, you have used countless of incarnations to sow discord, causing the various forces in Tong Tian Tower to fall into a chaotic war. You must think that others can't see through you. But it's a pity. The first time I saw you, I knew that you were an old acquaintance. Yu Yang snorted coldly. At that time, your subordinates purposely lied to the world, saying that you were sealed in the Heaven Stairway. Actually, there was no such thing. You had always been sowing discord in Tong Tian Tower, so every time you came out, you used a different identity. Is that so? Thousand Goblin King's body trembled slightly, but he immediately calmed down and asked, "Where did Third Young Master see me before? I have never seen you before." Yu Yang said a name that caused Thousand Goblin King's expression to change, but after I saw you, I immediately knew that person was one of your incarnations. Your eyesight is really not bad. Thousand Goblin King swallowed a mouthful of saliva and asked calmly, "Then what else did you see?" Thousand Goblin King, you don't even have a guardian beast. When Yu Yang said this, Thousand Goblin King was immediately stunned. Shock appeared in the depths of his eyes. He can no longer hide it. Yu Yang used his finger like a gun and pointed at Thousand Goblin King. You are an ancient demon, not a human. You used a shameless method to take over the body of a genius young man. As punishment, the ancient code took away that genius young man's inherent skill in guardian beast. You are an ancient demon who took over a body, so it is impossible for you to have other people's inherent skill in guardian beast. Even your original guardian beast was taken away by the ancient code forever, never to exist. You, who intended to use this method to obtain 2 inherent skills and 2 guardian beasts, in the end, even your own guardian beast was taken away. Thousand Goblin King's hands trembled a little. He felt that he had been seen through by Yu Yang, as if all his secrets no longer existed. He felt a wave of fear. Could it be that this brat could even see through his weakness? Or was he guessing that he did not summon his guardian beast to fight, which aroused his suspicions? Thousand Goblin King took a deep breath and sneered at Yu Yang. So what? Even if I don't have a guardian beast, I still have a unique separation inherent skill. As long as I have it, I can have countless clones. Every clone, as long as there is enough energy, can grow to heaven rank and above. How many heaven rankers can you kill? Yu Yang clapped his hands as if he wanted to praise him. Countless clones? What a beautiful dream. Unfortunately, every time you create a clone, your original body strength will be reduced by 1/5. Your original body has almost no potential to grow and can only rely on deceiving others and stealing pure energy to level up. If not for the original ancient demon's energy, you're not even as good as that idiot Black Hell King. You used 6,000 years to hide in a dark corner and steal other people's energy to create clones. You are just like a pitiful mouse. Do you think that by stealing some cheese, you can become a human? No, you will always be a mouse that everyone wants to kill. I know what you want to obtain in God's ruins, and that is God's blood. You want to use God's blood to cleanse your body and change your bones. Do you want to hear my truest and cruelest answer? Thousand Goblin King, a monster like you who stole other people's body is neither human nor demon. You will never be recognized by God's blood, because in your body, there's not only the ancient demon king's curse seal, there's also the prison emperor's power seal. They did not lock you in a space, but completely destroyed your future. No matter what you do, you are destined to be a tragedy. What you get is destined to be in vain. This is the punishment that you, the traitor, deserve. No, impossible. Thousand Goblin King was sweating profusely. His determination was shaken. Yu Yang's words were more powerful than world-exterminating wheel, sharper than innate sword chi, and more scorching than nirvana flame. Thousand Goblin King had always dreamed of occupying Tong Tian Tower and conquering Heaven Realm. Today, Yu Yang mercilessly removed the mask that he had been hiding for a long time and told him a cruel truth that he could not accept. If not for his strong willpower, Thousand Goblin King would have collapsed long ago. He never thought that ancient Demon King and Prison Emperor, who had let him off that year, would actually tamper with his body and destroy his future. Thinking back to that year, ancient Demon King's mocking eyes. Thinking back to that year, Prison Emperor's disdainful eyes. Now, Thousand Goblin King understood that he had never escaped from the palms of ancient Demon King and Prison Emperor. He had always been shrouded in their shadows. He believed that it was impossible for Black Hell King to tell Yu Yang. Black Hell King did not know so many of his secrets. It must be Prison Emperor who left a secret message for the next generation Prison Emperor, or the crystal coffin that contained ancient Demon King's perfect body, which recorded his information. This Yu Yang saw it in the crystal coffin of ancient Demon King. No, even if the whole world becomes my enemy, I am not afraid. I have the separation inherent skill. This is an invincible inherent skill. No matter if it is ancient Demon King, Prison Emperor, or even Yu Clan's third young master, no one can be my opponent. Even if I lose now, it is only temporary. I will definitely win it back in the end. Ancient Demon King is dead. He can't even get his body back. Who killed him? It's me. Prison Emperor is also dead. He fought with the Heaven Realm Rankers. Who killed him? It's also me. It's the same now. Yu Clan's third young master. Today's failure does not mean anything. As long as I'm alive, I will have a chance to win it back. Thousand Goblin King roared crazily. He pointed at Yu Yang and shouted angrily. You are only proud for a moment, but I will definitely live longer than you. Longer than you. No matter what inherent skill you have, no matter how much potential you have, you are destined to die in the future. As for me, who has at least 100,000 years of life, I will continue to live. The Tong Tian Tower and the soaring dragon continent that you protect, after you die, I will destroy them all, just like how I bathed the Heaven Stairway and Ming Kingdom in blood. Yes, that was done by me. What can you do to me? Yu Clan's third young master, with your current strength, can you kill me? Even if you destroy this body of mine, I can still continue to live on my clone. As long as my demon heart, which is stored in the safest place in the world, is not destroyed, you will never be able to kill me. Is that so? Yu Yang stared at Thousand Goblin King and slowly raised his hand. Do you know why I said those words? The reason was to test your trump card. No matter what, I will laugh until the end. Thousand Goblin King realized that he had been tricked. Because of Yu Yang's attack, he had lost his rationality. Thousand Goblin King regretted saying some things that he should not have said, but he still had some wishful thinking. Even if this brat Yu Yang knew, it would be fine. He would not know where his demon heart was. Yu Yang, Little One Li, and the battle angel slowly surrounded him. Thousand Goblin King pretended to be calm and sneered. Yu Clan's third young master, you will never know what my trump card is. Hearing this, Hui Tai Lang barked. What did this lowly dog mean? Thousand Goblin King did not understand. What was this lowly dog trying to say? Yu Yang explained. Hui Tai Lang said that if others cannot guess what your trump card is, then it means that you do not have a trump card. Even my watchdog knows about it. Who do you think you can fool? Thousand Goblin King, I have finished testing you. I am very sorry to tell you. If you did not expose the secret that you do not have a trump card, I would not have used my secret power to kill you. Now, you're dead for sure. Use that devil heart of yours to find a doppelganger. Do you think I did not send people to deal with that clone that only has innate strength? 3 hours ago, I sent 2 of my most trusted people to kill him. Now, I can guarantee that as soon as you die, your clone will immediately be beheaded. You, who was tortured and killed by Prison Emperor once, used thousands of years to recover. Thousand Goblin King, this time, I will never let you rise again. Are you trying to scare me? You are still too inexperienced. Thousand Goblin King actually had two clones outside. When he heard that he would only kill one, he was very calm. "Old man, you are already too late." Yu Yang's expression was cold as he opened his arms. Countless energy gathered in his hands. Thousand Goblin King instantly created a few hundred slaves, which shook. All of the slaves' bodies exploded. Fresh blood, splashing all over the sky. Thousand Goblin King, who had obtained the blood energy from hundreds of slaves, condensed all the blood energy into a ball and made it into the most terrifying blood grudge demon ball. He attacked Yu Yang. He did not hope to kill Yu Yang with this attack. He only wanted the blood grudge demon ball to delay him for a second so that he could escape. However, what Thousand Goblin King did not expect was that an irresistible power of the ancient code instantly exploded from Yu Yang's body. Thousand Goblin King was pressed to the ground, unable to move. Yu Yang's body grew into an immeasurably tall golden giant. Under the golden giant's feet, Hui Tai Lang, Xiao Wen Li, Man, Duo, and the others all grew into golden giant statues that were more than 100 meters tall. Each of them possessed the power of the ancient code, enough to instantly kill a heaven ranker. The first clone Qi Yin and the second clone Qing Yin rushed out to help, but were instantly pressed to the ground. With just one step, the golden giant, that was at least 1,000 meters tall, used its toes to flatten Thousand Goblin King and the two clones. Qi Yin and Qing Yan's two clones exploded. After Thousand Goblin King's body exploded, a wave of energy tried to escape from the golden giant's toes. Yu Yang stretched out his hand. The golden giant emitted an unparalleled power of the ancient code. It easily caught that wave of energy in Yu Yang's hand, along with the blood grudge demon ball. It instantly compressed and formed a blood-red pearl. It was similar to the black pearl left behind by the dark golden specter that was invisible to the white jade beetle, and the silver pearl left behind by the golden specter that was sealed in the Five Elements Palace. The golden giant, formed by the power of the ancient code, quickly disappeared. Little One Li and the others also quickly returned to their original state. It was as if nothing had happened in the entire snow world. Only the deep footprints on the ground, 3 exploded corpses, and a dim grimoire were left behind. Hui Tai Lang did not hold back and started eating on the spot. He did not care about Thousand Goblin King's clones. As long as it could absorb energy, it was food. It would be a waste not to eat it. Thousand Goblin King, farewell. Yu Yang held the blood pearl, and a wave of nirvana flame burned in his hand. The blood pearl seemed to produce a strange fluctuation, as if it was struggling. It also seemed to be begging for mercy. In the nirvana flame, the blood pearl's strange movements gradually calmed down. After being refined by the nirvana flame, the blood pearl became even redder and more enchanting. It showed a very strange hue. At this time, the battle was finally over. On Yu Yang's body, Hui Tai Lang's body, Little One Li's body, all the war beasts that participated in the battle had a burst of golden light of leveling up. Outside the secret door, when Bloody Queen Red and Hornless Dragon Jiang Ying's bodies glowed with the golden light of leveling up, everyone cheered. Everyone knew what this meant. This meant that Yu Yang had won. Yi Kong and Fatty Hai, who were holding a man kneeling outside the secret door, disregarded the man's loud begging for mercy. They cut off his head. There's one more. After leveling up, Princess Sisai opened her tightly closed eyes and snorted coldly. If that person stays, Shui Wuxia nodded. He can't escape. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.